loss in trading commodities interest can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Displayed prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. Learn more at robinhood.com/election.
What's up, KC? It's Trent McDuffie. Catch the play-by-play all season long with Mitch, Danon, and Kling right here on your home with the Chiefs. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station. Nobody in Kansas City has sports like 96.5 The Fan.
Right side throw, touchdown! Kansas City, a 3-yard touchdown pass in overtime. Kansas City wins the game.
Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
Back-to-back best sports talk hosts as voted on in the Pitch magazine.
Live from the Fan Studios. Here's CDOT.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. I am very excited to be here with you. There is a lot for us to get into. Did you know that today is what they call a sports equinox? Now, Rob, there have only been 31 of these in history. Today, there is an NFL game, there are NBA games, there are hockey games, there is a World Series game. Every major sport plays today. It is a very exciting time in the sports calendar. We are happy that you have decided to spend some time with us here on 96.5 The Fan. All right, this is what we're going to do. Coming up, I will give you my biggest Chiefs thought from yesterday's win against the Las Vegas Raiders. All the Chiefs do is win, 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 no matter what. I'll give you my early thoughts on Josh Uche. We are also going to go to Boston and learn a little bit more about the newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll talk about this weekend's Sunflower Showdown. The Missouri football season is over. We will not discuss them again after today. Rob, I see the way you're looking at me. We will not discuss them again after today. We will talk about them again today. And I'm sure they're going to win 8 or 9 games, and you guys will try to tell me how at Mizzou we should celebrate that. No, not when you have the cupcake soft schedule that Missouri had this year, for you to play 2 real teams and for you to get belt to behind in both of those 2 games this season. I do not care if you beat Florida and Mississippi State down the stretch to win 8 games this year. Your season is over officially on The Drive. That is my stance. So there's a lot for us to get into between now and the end of the show. Again, I appreciate you so much. We will get to the Chiefs coming up in just a bit. But before we do any of that, Rob, you know what to do.
Pizza time on The Drive. Carrington, dial me up right now. Call number 6, 913-586-7965. They win a pizza from our friends over at Pizza Tassio. Pizza Tassio is Kansas City's best New York-style pizza, and they have taken over the town. They lovingly use 100% whole milk mozzarella, all organic tomato sauce with locally grown fresh ingredients, all made by KC guys who both know and love pizza. They also have a killer selection of craft and local beers, plus unique wines. So whether it's a slice or 2 or you're hungry enough for a whole pie, be sure to visit them now at pizzatasio.com. That's pizza, Tasio.com.
I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day on 96.5 The Fan. And number 2, I need you to tell one friend. I don't need you to tell 2 friends that if you want some of the best pizza in the city. And you know what, Rob, today, if we can we give the pizza to a K-State fan? Because K-State, they are the one fan base. They are the one team that's still holding it down to preseason expectations. KU certainly is not. Missouri is not. K-State still has a chance to compete and play for a national championship. So if you can, if they don't say Ema, Rob, do not give them a pizza. If they are not repping Willie the Wildcat, I do not want you to give them a pizza today. You have not earned a pizza. I do not want you to take our pizza and sit down and watch Missouri football with it. I don't want you to take our pizza and go watch Jalen Daniels throw more interceptions and fumble on critical drives. If you are not a Wildcat fan, today's pizza is not for you. All right, let's get to this. I want to read to you guys a sequence in yesterday's Chiefs game. And the reason I want to read to you this sequence is because, to me, this sequence almost perfectly describes the Kansas City Chiefs probably over the course of the last 2 regular seasons. All right, you know what? This portion of the game, it starts when the Chiefs have a 17-13 lead. They were playing okay against the Las Vegas Raiders. You were never really worried about them losing to the Las Vegas Raiders, but you know what? The game is still a little bit in doubt, so you got to at least go through the motions of thinking, man, I don't know, this game's close. Hey, the Chiefs are playing down to the level of competition. You know that conversation that you've had with yourself or your buddies or whoever you watch the game with. You know the conversation that I'm having. Well, on this play, did you know that the Chiefs committed a penalty and then the Chiefs threw an interception? Now, I am not here telling you that the interception was Patrick Mahomes' fault. In fact, for this story, I do not care whose fault it was. But I don't care how big of a Chiefs fan you are. You have to acknowledge that, man, the Chiefs turned the ball over a lot. Let me tell you that over the last season and a half, the Chiefs have 39 turnovers. Did you know that over the two last regular seasons, the Chiefs' turnover differential is minus 14? The Chiefs usually turn the football over. And you know what happens? The offense comes off the field after a turnover, and you know what? Patrick Mahomes looks at Chris Jones, and Chris Jones and the rest of that defense says, don't worry about it, 1-5, we got you. The Las Vegas Raiders get the ball first and goal from the Kansas City 3. It is a 17-13 game. Now, I don't think the Raiders are going to win this. You probably don't think the Raiders are going to win this, but you know what? You still got to go through the motions here, and you got to get those feels. It's late in the third quarter. There are 20 minutes left in the game when this happens, and the Chiefs are up 4 points. Upsets happen every week in the National Football League, and this could possibly be one of them. It's first and goal from the 3. The Raiders try to run the football. What has been a theme against the Kansas City Chiefs over the last 2 seasons? They did not run the football effectively. Alexander Mattison had 14 carries for 15 yards. I don't know why they tried to run the football. It didn't work. They got 2 yards. It's now second and goal from the 1-yard line. They try to run the football again. They did not get any yards. It's third and goal. They tried to run it again. Why? Y'all don't read the scouting report. Y'all don't have Google in Las Vegas. I've been to Las Vegas before. I know they have Google. They tried to run the ball 3 straight times with Alexander Mattison, and they got 0 yards out of it. They ran one more play. They could have kicked the field goal. Now, I supported the Raiders' decision to go for it in this scenario. There really isn't much value in being down 17-16 to the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a critical juncture in the game. What are the Raiders going to do here? Got nothing to lose here. Let's go for it. They get a sack. It is now 17-13. The Chiefs go down the field and score. The Raiders fumble the ball on their next possession. The Chiefs go down the field and score a touchdown, a wonderfully executed touchdown. The Chiefs scored 10 points in their next 2 drives, and that is the end of the game. We've seen that sequence so many times over the course of the last 2 years, and it never gets old. The game is just close enough that you still got to watch it. You can't fully turn the channel. You can't go do what the wife wants you to do. Babe, it's close. She sits down and she's, oh, man, this game's a little closer than I thought. Yeah, you know, they're going to win. And then the offense does something, and the defense usually cleans up the mess. And that is exactly what happened yesterday. They turned the ball over on their side of the field. It's first and goal from the 3-yard line. The Raiders, in fact, they lost 5 yards from first and goal on the 3 and gave the ball back to the Chiefs at the 8-yard line. That was the end of the game. There's no other part of the game that we need to discuss. We'll talk about Travis Kelce over the course of the show. We'll talk about DeAndre Hopkins. We'll talk about Xavier Worthy. But if you want to know where the game was won or lost, there was a 4-minute stretch that the game was won or lost, and I just read it to you. That was it. Raiders had no chance of winning outside of that. Their best chance to win was to score a touchdown right there and put a little bit of pressure on Kansas City. But there is a reason why the Chiefs are who they are, and there's a reason why the Raiders are what they are. There's a reason why one team is going to be the 1 seed and has a chance to go 15-2 this year. And there is a major reason why one team could potentially have the number 1 overall pick. And you saw it in 2 possessions yesterday. That's it. We'll talk about some of the individual players in the game. But if you want to know why the game was won or lost and how the Chiefs are potentially going to win the Super Bowl and how the Raiders are in the toilet bowl, I just gave it to you. Now, let's give you some early thoughts on Josh Uche, and Rob, we'll talk about this more coming up after the break. This is the most Chiefs thing that they could possibly do. And I don't say that as a negative. In fact, it is an overwhelming positive. When the tweet came through the timeline, I said to myself, oh, this is the Brett Veach special. Josh Uche was a second-round pick in 2020. He had a fantastic year in 2022. He has been injured, hasn't had the same level of productivity over the course of the last couple of years. He is a very low-risk, possibly decent reward player that cost you, listen to this, they traded a sixth-round pick, not in next year's draft, not the one that's in Green Bay. They traded it for the 2026 NFL draft. Now, even somebody like Rob that loves to hoard those picks by any means necessary, even he has to be willing to trade a future sixth-round pick. We're talking about a pick that's close to the 200s for a guy who's had double-digit sacks in his career, a guy who could possibly be on next year's team. You can always go get back a late sixth-round pick. It's almost like the Patriots gave him to the Chiefs, if you want my opinion. At that compensation, that's nothing. And he was on a one-year prove-it deal. So you're talking about they got a guy who had 11 sacks in his career in a season, and they got him for a 2026 sixth-round pick, and he's due to make less than $1 million the rest of the way. That's a Brett Veach special right there. That's a really solid trade. Now, you will probably not hit a home run with this signing, but you also have to factor in the acquisition cost. But I think this says sort of where they feel the health of Mike Dana is. Maybe this says something about Charles Omenihu and when they think he's going to come back. But maybe it doesn't say any of those things. And you know what? The Chiefs saw a pass rusher that they liked, that they can acquire for basically nothing, and they decided to take a swing. Now, we can talk about if this takes them out of the conversation for some other things. Maybe they're now not going to go get a wide receiver. Maybe they're now not going to go get a corner or a left tackle or whatever position group you want them to get. But after they made the restructure for Jawan Taylor, I think we all knew that they were going to make some other kind of move. They made one of those kind of moves earlier today when they go to pick up Josh Uche. So we're going to go to Boston here in a bit. I want you guys to hear the Patriots' perspective of what went right for him in a Patriots uniform, what went wrong, and what's the value that you were getting with a player like this. But I don't know how you can be mad at this move at all. This is right up Brett Veach's alley. A former first or second round pick that didn't pan out in his original home. You bring him to your team, and you see if he's got anything left. That is a move that the Kansas City Chiefs love. Coming up on the other side, I do want to talk more about this. The Chiefs have become the team that we always discussed about them being in 2017 to 2018. I'll explain. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
When you have an expert financial partner invested in you, you can't help but feel like a star. Like the new graduate opening their first investment account, the small business owner proudly adding a new location, or the young couple buying their first home. At Community America, we're invested in helping members achieve financial peace of mind with products and services tailored to each stage of life. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union. Invested in you.
Cap off Week 8 of the NFL with a chance to win on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins on tonight's game. And you can do that with a same-game parlay. How about Russell Wilson over 1.5 passing touchdowns, Malik Neighbors over the receiving yards, and Najee Harris with an anytime touchdown? Just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
At Shane Company, our engagement rings are the perfect blend of design, function, and beauty, each one a unique work of art. We meticulously craft our bridal jewelry in our jeweler's workshop to the highest standards, expertly setting each diamond by hand, ensuring the structure is perfectly balanced, and sizing everything for the perfect fit. Shane Company offers a free unmatched lifetime warranty because your engagement ring is an heirloom that was made to last. You'll cherish your ring today, tomorrow, and forever. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
It's time to review the top 3 highlights of the day. I'm joined as always by my co-anchor Snoop.
Hey, what up, though?
Snoop, number 1 has to be getting the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence at T-Mobile.
Yeah, you should hustle down to T-Mobile like a dog chasing a squirrel chasing a nut.
Nice analogy, Snoop. Dogs do love to chase squirrels.
And squirrels love to chase those nuts.
On to highlight number 2. At T-Mobile, families can save 20% every month versus the other big guys.
That is very impressive. You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
That's exactly what I'm planning on doing with my savings, Snoop. Now, take it away, Snoop.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on them. Now drop that jingle.
24 monthly bill credits. Eligible trade-in on Go 5G Next. Well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits and credit stop and balance on required finance agreement due. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence coming fall 2024.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery on select smart beds when you add any base. Ends Labor Day. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
I'm at the movies, asking people if they'll switch seats with me for $574.
Here, take mine.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
Too much work.
Not if you call them. They handle the switching.
Now, that's a plot twist.
Shh. Check Allstate first, and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Justin Reed. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home of Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Coming up in about 5 minutes, I will play for you what Bill Bellichick had to say about the Chiefs trade to go acquire Joshua Uche. I'll also play for you what Adam Schefter had to say about the move as well. Let's go through this trade. We're also going to be joined by Joshua Brisco. We'll get his reaction to this move as well. There are a lot of reasons to like this trade. Joshua Uche is 26 years old. He went to Michigan. He was drafted in 2020. He was a second-round pick. He was picked 60 to the Patriots. Now, his career, it ain't really worked out that well with the New England Patriots. But in 2022, let me tell you, he was incredible. He played in 15 games. He had 23 solo tackles. He had 11 and a half sacks. He played at a really high level. Now, the best comparison I can make, Rob, do you remember there was a baseball player when we were coming up? We were kids. His name was Brady Anderson. You remember Brady Anderson who played for the Baltimore Orioles? You remember that year where Brady Anderson hit like 50 home runs, and then you looked at the rest of his career and it's like, wait, hold on. You're not the same guy that hit all those home runs. So to explain what I mean, Joshua Uche in his first season had 1 sack. In his second season, he had 3 sacks. In 2023, he had 3. And this season, he has 2 sacks. He got 11.5 sacks in 1 season. He has 9 sacks in the other 4 seasons. So you can determine which player that you think he is. Do you think he's the guy in 2022, or do you think he's more like the player that we saw in 20, 21, 23, and 24? Now, I'm going to guess that he's closer to the player that we've seen in those other 4 years than the 1 year. But that is not to say that this is not a good move. The acquisition cost is nothing on this move. Literally nothing. They traded a future 6th-round pick, not even a 2025 6th-round pick. They traded a 2026 6th-round pick for this player, and his base salary with the Chiefs is $722,000. Nothing. So if you're a team and you are looking to add pass rush, there's not a lot of teams that are going to give you a capable pass rusher for pennies on the dollar. If you wanted that kind of level of pass rush, you had a chance to go get Matthew Judon, or you can spend a 1st or a 2nd round pick. But I think we know the market that the Chiefs are in. The market that the Chiefs are in is the clearance rack. They're not getting it off the showroom floor. No, they're in the back. They're in the clearance section. You got DeAndre Hopkins for the low, and you got the Titans to eat half of that deal. You also got Joshua Uche for the absolute low. So what are your expectations of this player as he joins the Kansas City Chiefs? Can he come in and be a solid rotational piece and player for this team? You are not asking him to live up to being a 2nd-round pick back in 2020. I think you know that's not what he is. But you are hoping that there's still a little bit of magic there. And I think that this trade is maybe a sign that Mike Dana is a little bit more injured than we think and maybe not coming back, or the same thing with Charles Omenihu. And you need somebody that you trust and somebody with a little bit of upside to potentially fill that role. This is a guy who could possibly be on this team next year. You're 26 years old. You prove to be a very capable rotational defensive lineman. They bring you back next year on a cheap deal. You signed a 1-year, $3 million deal, guaranteed 2.3 with the New England Patriots. So you are already playing for no money and on a team that had no chance of winning. You come to Kansas City, you make a couple of plays in some big spots. You play for a great defense under a great defensive coordinator. You come here where you are filled with other great pass rushers. You got Chris Jones to one side of you. You got George Karlaftis to one side of you. You have a couple of different options out there. There are going to be far less expectations on you to go out and be the player that people thought you were coming out of Michigan and live up to that draft pick that you were used for. So I don't have any problem with this move. I think this is a very smart move, and this move is in line with so many of the Chiefs' trades and moves that we've seen them make over the last handful of years, Rob.
Even me, Mr. Hate Giving Up Picks guy, loves this deal. Carrington, I know we'll hear from Bill Belichick in a minute, but you know what he was the king of for years and years and years and years and years in the NFL? He would trade nothing, and he would get a player back. Now, what made Belichick great, and the Chiefs have been great at this too, is that they would find a way to utilize that skill set and get the most out of that player. Sometimes it was obvious. Oh, they got the most out of Randy Moss. Obviously, good job. But other times they would add Michael Floyd near the deadline. Hey, he's had some legal issue. We're going to add him in, bring him into our environment. And guess what? Down the stretch, he makes a couple plays, helps the team. Chris Long, same thing. Like, we can name the Patriots that they did this with. Josh Uche is hey, you can help us now. Maybe you make a play. Maybe you make a rush. Maybe you make a difference in a game. And that's a win for us because we gave up nothing to do it. It is a great acquisition cost. It is a epitome of a low-risk, high-reward. And if the Chiefs and Spagnuolo and Reed and everyone involved can get him in a position to make a couple plays, then you walk out the absolute winner. But much like the Patriots and Bill Belichick's era in New England, if it doesn't work out, okay, you gave up a chance at Trey Smith. You gave up a chance at B.J. Thompson to get this done. Pick your poison on which kind of guy they'd be adding with that pick. But the odds are that Spagnuolo, who can find the role for basically everyone in that defense, including Roland Wallace, who no one knew who was a week ago, then he will be able to find a way to make Josh Uche effective or effective enough. It's similar to me, except for the acquisition cost a little higher, of adding Terrell Suggs. If it works, hey, you found another pass rusher, and pass rushers are very important. If it doesn't, whatever, man. You added another guy. Remember they made the trade with Arizona this preseason for another pass rusher, and it doesn't work out. That's life. This is a fine deal for the Chiefs, as long as everyone understands it's a flyer.
I think that's a really good point, that the Chiefs, they have become the Patriots. They've become the Patriots. I'll read our top text to you. C-Dot, playing next to Chris Jones will place Uche a lot closer to the 2022 version. You want to know what being as good as the Chiefs have been? You get the benefit of the doubt on every single move. How many times did the Patriots sign a player and the expectation is, man, that guy's going to be good? I mean, I'm talking about they did this with Ocho Cinco at the end of his career. They did this with Albert Haynesworth at the end of his career. They did this with Michael Floyd. Remember when Michael Floyd got kicked off of the Arizona Cardinals for the DUI and they got him late in his career? The Patriots did this, and the rest of the league's expectation is, oh boy, how did you guys let the Patriots get that guy? Now, a majority of those moves didn't work out, but some of them did work out. That's the benefit of the doubt that you get. I don't think that Joshua Uche is coming in here to be a guy who's going to get 11 and a half sacks the way that he did in 2022. But could he come in and be a productive player, be a rotational piece, and be a positive? And on a team that is dealing with some injuries on that side of the ball, could he come in and fill a role? I absolutely think he can be that. Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, what do you think this tells you about how they feel about Felix? I don't think this changes anything for Felix. You guys know that I'm big on snap counts. Do you guys want to know where Felix is in snap counts? He's still behind Mike Dana for the year. Mike Dana plays a higher percentage of the snaps than Felix does. So we're talking about a guy who was a 6th-round pick, who has done a really good job hanging on in this league and being a productive player. Felix has not passed him in year 2 as a 1st-round pick. So I don't think this changes anything for how they feel about Felix. We know what he is. He plays in 35% of their defensive snaps. You know what he is? A rotational piece. That's what he is. At this point, Karlaftis has shown you potential star ability in year 2 at this point, and Karlaftis has continued to build on that and be that. And maybe Felix turns it on a little bit later in his career, but I mean, we've been seeing Felix Anudike-Uzomah. We are, 24, 25 games, 25 weeks into his NFL career. He still can't get on the field ahead of Mike Dana. I think we know how they feel about Felix. He's a rotational piece at this point that you were hoping maybe in year 3, year 4, maybe something happens later on in the end of his 2nd year. But I just don't think this changes anything for him because I think they acquired 2020 Felix Anudike-Uzomah today. They acquired a guy who's going to get 2, 3, maybe 4 sacks and be a rotational piece and is probably going to flash at times and make you think that there is a higher ceiling when there's probably not. I think that's the player that they acquired. Coming up in a bit, we're going to be joined by Joshua Brisco. Let me play for you guys what Bill Belichick had to say. Here are his thoughts on the trade.
Well, I assume it was a 25-6th. If it was a 26-6th, then honestly, then they didn't give up anything in my mind. And then if you like the player and re-sign him, then you re-sign him. Look, Josh Uche is a really good rusher. He hasn't had a chance to rush much this year for the Patriots because they've been behind a lot. And, it's the situation hasn't been good. But he had a big year 2 years ago. Now, he had Judon on the other side of him. So it was 2 good pass rushers. But he'll have a lot of opportunities to rush in Kansas City. I think that he'll really help him. He's got surprising power for his size. He's got, excellent quickness and a good get off, and he has some flexibility in coverage. So I think it's a good addition for a team that needs another pass rusher, which everybody does. Josh can do that. He'll definitely help him.
Rob, you know that we love a good cross-sport comparison, especially a good basketball comparison. You know what this is? You got a guy that you think can knock down a couple of shots. You've got legitimate playmakers on that D-line. You got Chris Jones, who can go for 20 or 30 in this analogy. You got George Karlaftis, who was flying all over the field and making plays yesterday. You've got your leading scorers. What you're looking for now is role guys who are going to play a little bit of defense, guys who are going to hustle and knock down shots. And that's what I think Uche can be in this comparison. I think that's what they're asking him to be. We've got other pass rushers that are going to take up more attention than you. You're going to have one-on-one opportunities, and you're going to be put in a spot that's very different than you were in New England. We're not asking you to come in and help us stop the run. We're not asking you to cover anybody. We are asking you to beat the guy in front of you and cause disruption. You've never been in that situation in New England. And the one time that you were in that situation when you played with other high-end pass rushers, you were a dog in 2022. So if the Chiefs are going to tell me that for less than $1 million and for a 2026 sixth-round pick, they're willing to roll the dice and see if any of that 2022 magic is still there, I think it's a very, very worthwhile gamble. Coming up here in just a bit, we're going to be joined by Joshua Brisco. Let me play for you guys what Adam Schefter had to say about the move.
Well, the Chiefs are active, obviously. They're adding another linebacker, former second-round draft pick from the Chiefs. And Josh Uche is going there. He was scratched. They were trading him all along. The Chiefs were the team that was interested. And now it's official. He'll be a Kansas City Chief.
Let's go to the phone lines right now to be joined by Joshua Brisco of Sports Illustrated and get his thoughts on this trade. Josh, man, happy to have you on the show today. I like this trade for the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a Brett Veach special. This is a very low risk, potentially decent reward kind of move that doesn't cost a lot of draft pick compensation, also isn't too taxing on the salary cap.
Yeah, and I think your analogy, like he's a 3-and-D guy, totally makes sense here because so much of this defensive line is reliant on Chris Jones and George Karlaftis. Obviously, Jones is way more productive, but Karlaftis has taken so many snaps. He's out there all the time. This just gives you a sixth man off the bench who, if Dana's missing any time, any continuing time, that's noteworthy. If you're not in love with how Felix has progressed, although I think we've seen some good things from him, you can add him in the rotation there. It's super Vici. And like I don't know if you guys have already heard or played the Bill Belichick breakdown of it, but hearing the guy who, for all intents and purposes, drafted him and then coached him through those first 4 years of his career, even that kind of gave it a little more juice for me. I think this makes a ton of sense at a very negligible price.
I think this says about the health of Mike Dana. He missed this game against the Raiders. I think he could potentially be out, and the Chiefs are just looking for depth. And if you can acquire depth at a relatively low cost, you got to take that every single time.
Yeah, and we talked about this with Hopkins too, but the process is really important to me in terms of like how did we get here? Because last year, the McCole Hardman trade at the time annoyed me deeply because they could have just kept him, right? Like that divorce never needed to happen. They just misevaluated Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney. This year, they traded for DeAndre Hopkins because wide receiver 1 and 2 both went down for either the whole year or a huge chunk of it. In this case, Dana getting banged up, and maybe you don't get the exact progression you wanted from Felix, although, again, he played 37 snaps against the Raiders and was at least holding his own out there. This is reasonable depth for at the end of a perfectly good process. Like, I thought they might draft somebody at defensive end to kind of try to speed up the timeline there for guys further down the depth chart. You also may remember that B.J. Thompson was sort of the developmental guy that might have been next up, and that was certainly outside of anybody's control. So I think that the process here pairs with that future sixth-round price tag in a way that we're going to forget by day 3 of the 26th draft. We're going to go, oh, yeah, that was for Uche. All right, yeah, that's fine. Either he's still here or he isn't, but he was a reasonable acquisition for a team that's obviously trying to three-peat.
It's interesting to me how teams just get the benefit of the doubt, and you get this by being as good as the Kansas City Chiefs have. I made this comparison right before you hopped on that we saw the Patriots make these kind of moves for a decade, and the expectation is that it was always going to work because New England was the team that did it. It feels like the Chiefs are now in this spot where if there's any team that can get the potential out of Joshua Uche, you would just assume that it's Kansas City. You look at the success that he had in 2022 when he played alongside Matthew Judon and some of their other pass rushers. And if that player still exists, you trust Kansas City to be able to get it out of him.
Yeah, and I think that's partially earned, and to your point, it's partially just the result of being the team that's holding the trophy at the end. The Patriots did have a couple through the years where you go, oh man, they're going to be so dangerous, especially towards the end. You go, oh, okay, well, we just didn't really hear from this guy very much. Kadarius Toney is not going to end up on Brett Veach's, like, the top paragraph of his Wikipedia page, but it worked out fine because he has a big moment or a couple of big moments in the playoffs, and you go, oh, well, the Chiefs got what they could, and it's not like anybody else is currently maximizing Kadarius Toney. But I think for the Chiefs, it actually makes more sense to me than it would for just kind of the idea of, oh man, I can't believe that the Chiefs got this guy who was maybe on the wrong side of his career. Uche is still looking for a chance to have a second contract that can play off of his peak to this point. And Steve Spagnuolo, it's a little bit of a different type of guy to some extent. And like Belichick said earlier, that he has more strength than you would expect on his frame, which is a Spagsy thing. But you give a legitimate pass rushing weapon to Steve Spagnuolo, and I do actually believe that he will maximize that guy. Now look, on the other end, for a similar price tag, right before the season started, they traded a 7th rounder for Cam Thomas. Now Cam Thomas, in the games where Mike Dana hasn't played, has 3 snaps, and 0 snaps. This move today effectively ends the Cam Thomas experiment in my mind. I don't think the Chiefs have seen much from him. Maybe there's a long-term view. Maybe he'll be kicking around in training camp next year as well. So again, they're not always guaranteed to pan out that way, but I think this move makes a lot more immediate impact and projects to a much larger short-term impact than, again, looking back to Cam Thomas now being a special teamer, even when the Chiefs needed to make a move for an edge rusher in their mind.
Right now, we're talking to Joshua Brisco for a couple more minutes here, getting his reaction to the Chiefs as they have made a trade. They have acquired Joshua Uche. He played for the New England Patriots. He had 11.5 sacks back in 2022. The Chiefs trade a future 6th-round pick to go acquire Uche. I do want to get your thoughts on what you think this means for Felix Anudike-Uzomah. I really don't think this changes much. I mean, he's played in 35% of their defensive snaps. I think we know what he is right now in his career. He is a rotational pass rusher. This is what Uche is coming in to be, a rotational pass rusher. And now with no Mike Dana, you can now somebody has to fulfill that role, and then somebody has to take the snaps of Felix Anudike. So I really don't think this means anything. I don't think this is an indictment on where he is at this point, but we have now seen, 25, 26 games of his career. I mean, this is who he's been since day one in Kansas City.
I would argue that he has shown more so far this year than we ever saw from him last season. So there is some form of progress there, right? Like last year, by and large, when he was on the field, you would notice either that they were running in his general direction, or more importantly and more unfortunately, the fact that, not an exaggeration, his hand was frequently in the ground longer than Derek Notty's, like getting off the ball, literally just getting the jump off the ball. He would frequently be the last defensive lineman to move, including much bigger, much slower overall players. That has not been as evident this year. I think we have seen some growth for him. And frankly, like, we saw a couple of nice plays from Malik Herring yesterday. But I think what this is about is a guy that you can weaponize in a rushing situation that can do it now and that you think can raise your overall level. I don't think this is bad news for Felix. I also, I don't think you can turn this into some like grand vote of confidence for him. I think really, and I'm hoping that we're not like on the eve of bad news regarding Charles Omenihu, because I still think he's probably the healthy, which we may not see him, air quotes, healthy, even 10 months off of an ACL whenever he ends up being back. But I think Charles Omenihu, healthy, is the best defensive end, best edge rusher on this group. Maybe, I guess you could say Chris Jones kicking to the outside, but of the actual edges. I think at this point, you need to have as many of those guys as you can. Felix is under contract through that first-round deal. Felix's projection is still a multi-year plan. That was partially even the case when they drafted him, one of the youngest players in the draft. I think we've seen some growth from him. I think he's in a better place now than he was this time last year, but I think the Chiefs are expecting Uche to be a better pass rusher right now than Felix is, and if Felix can be a starter next year, or even a consistent third guy, I think the Chiefs would be happy with that, given the struggles that he had in year one.
The Chiefs have made a couple of moves here over the last 4 to 5 days. Do you think they're done, or are you anticipating them making a move between now and next Tuesday?
I'm going to read really, really far into a very small move they made before the game. Montrell Washington was the wide receiver who got the practice squad call-up. I think that's mostly because of special teams, because Sky Moore did some special teams things, but he did get a handful of offensive snaps as well. The fact that it was him and not Remigio, not Justin Ross, again, special teams first there. But I have to think that there's still a little bit of a desire to poke around to see if maybe that Demarcus Robinson price comes around. I'm a little bit hesitant to predict them to trade for a corner. They're always so bullish on the internal options. Obviously, losing Johnson again doesn't help, but hopefully that's on a long-term concussion process. So I would say that there is still an outside chance that you find that old face that returns the wide receiver room. But if Juju practices, I guess not Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday, then maybe they end up being able to settle in a little bit. I don't think we're going to see one before the Buccaneers game as of right now, which would take them down, obviously, to the trade deadline on Tuesday.
All right, give me a candy hot take before I get you out of here. I will give you a couple of them. Red Vines are better than Twizzlers, and the better version of Twizzlers are actually pull and peel and not the OG.
Two great licorice-based takes by you. I have no notes for either of those. My wife is a big Twizzlers fan. I'm more pro Red Vine, so I like that angle. I think Three Musketeers at this point are underrated. I know it's just nougat in there, but it's still a satisfying bite. I think Kit Kats are the greatest chocolate candy of all time. Twix a close second, but chocolate and peanut butter is the best combo. So I need to get like a chocolate peanut butter Kit Kat happening soon. I would hear that for a run at the throne. Also, hey, just a PSA more so than a hot take, do not buy the bags of mixed licorice and chocolate candy. That is a mistake that we have made in this home. I had a Reese's peanut butter cup that tasted like a Twizzler. It was a horrendous experience, and it takes a lot for me to reject candy. I will not touch that bag of candy again. Just buy your fruit-flavored candy in one bag, buy your chocolate-flavored candy in another. Everybody's going to be happy. That's my PSA for all of us here this Halloween season.
Well, Brisco, you know what? I was going to let you promote your show coming up at 7 o'clock, but the fact that you said that Kit Kats are better than Snickers, I can't let you be on the show anymore today, so I appreciate your time.
Snickers are overrated. I'll tell you more at 7 o'clock tonight.
Hey, man, Rob, delete his number. He can't come on the show anymore. He can't. I'm done. We've tried to give Brisco a lot of time. We've given Brisco a lot of leeway. There's only room for one trash food takes on this show, and that's me. I can't be sharing the spotlight with people like Joshua Brisco coming in here. They already get mad at me on the text line. You could come on here and say the Snickers are overrated? Terrible opinion. Coming up on the other side, we will give out helmet stickers for this weekend in college football. I will not be giving any to a player that plays at the University of Missouri. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Protect yourself. Get the updated COVID-19 vaccine and your flu shot at the same time at Hy-Vee. That's right, you can save time and get your COVID-19 and flu shot at the same time. Schedule your updated COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot online today, or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy whenever it's convenient for you. No appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Your Hy-Vee pharmacy is here to help you and your family stay healthy. Some restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and I'm here with Ryan Manning of Manning Roofing. We all know when a storm comes through, there may be a knock at your door with somebody trying to repair your roof.
Inexperienced guys will be out and getting homeowners to open up claims. A lot of the times they don't show up for those adjustments. Photo takers might not document everything, and when the file examiner takes a look at it, it ends up in a denied claim or a partial. Give us a call. We'll go from there.
Do what we did and set up your appointment today at manninggc.com or 816-448-8208. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
Cap off NFL Week 8 with a chance to win on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins on tonight's game. So you can build out that same game parlay for Monday Night Football between the Giants and Steelers. How about Russell Wilson to go over 1.5 passing touchdowns? Malik Neighbors over his receiving yards, and Najee Harris to score a touchdown. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hi, it's Derek Johnson, and I know there's nothing better than being part of a team. A group of great people you can count on and learn from. The Sheet Metalworkers, local #2, are growing their team and looking for quality men and women who want to build Kansas City's future. While you're making KC a better place, you'll also get great pay and benefits while gaining lifelong skills. Explore the possibilities at sheetmetal2.org. That's sheetmetal2.org. And take a step towards a fulfilling and rewarding way of life.
What does it mean to be the official information technology provider for the Chiefs? It means everything. Technology Group Solutions makes sure everything runs flawlessly for the millions of fans that attend games and the hundreds of millions of fans that comprise Chiefs Kingdom around the world. Technology Group Solutions can deploy that same dedication, problem solving, and incredible service to ensure your business runs smoothly. Technology Group Solutions, powering Chiefs Kingdom, and ready to do the same for you.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navien's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards RealFit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
This afternoon, expect a partly sunny day with a high of 84.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Robert Half's recruiting professionals use their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Learn more at roberthalf.com/talent today.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 96.5 The Fan.
I want to get back to football, and I promise you we will. I asked Joshua Brisco, our Chiefs insider, to give us an unpopular candy opinion, and he said that Kit Kat is the best chocolate-based candy, which we all know is wrong. Now, I understand that everybody is entitled to their own opinion, and I respect your opinion. But I also can tell you that I think you're wrong. Someone on the text line, Snickers are only good at Halloween, and only the mini ones. Otherwise, it's mid at best. Someone else texted in and said Kit Kats are far superior to Snickers. You're lying. Kit Kats, they're not even better than Twix. I don't even know if they would get a medal stand in the chocolate candy Olympics. Snickers has already walked away with the gold medal. It's the Simone Biles of chocolate candies. Twix are better. Peanut M&Ms, if we're saying chocolate-based candy. Kit Kats are better than Snickers? Again, everybody is entitled to an opinion. I am also entitled to tell you that you are wrong with said opinion. There is only room on this show for one person with questionable food takes, and I have taken that. You got to find a different lane. You got to find a different lane if we're going to do that. Somebody on the text line says anybody who hates Snickers also hates Red Lobster, and they deserve to be blocked. Amen, brother. Hey, Rob, is there a way that we can give this individual a pizza? Can we have this individual's number? Can we text this individual and try to give them a pizza? Because that person is a real American. That person is a patriot. And we need to do a better job on this show of saluting our listeners and people that decide to give us a part of their day. And if that's the kind of opinions that you have on the text line, I want to reward that. I want to reward it. Kit Kats. Someone just texted in C-Dot, what about almond M&Ms? Bro.
That's a thing?
If you don't get off the text line with that nonsense, almond M&Ms. Bro, if you handed me, if you went to the store and I said, hey, can you grab me something? And you're like, yeah, sure, of course. And you came back with almond M&Ms, I would assume that you don't want what's best for me and my family. I would assume that you don't care about me if you came back with almond. What color is the bag for the almond M&Ms? We know what color the regular M&M bag is, the peanut M&Ms, the peanut butter M&Ms. What color is the almond M&Ms? Bro, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm really not. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm in a good mood. Rob, you're in a good mood. I'm feeling good. I'm healthy. I had a great breakfast earlier today. I'm not going to let you guys bring me down. Someone said, C-Dot, what about Butterfingers? Are you ranking that higher or lower than Kit Kat? I got to put Butterfingers behind Kit Kat. Kit Kats are better than Butterfingers.
Okay, that's nonsense.
Kit Kats are better than Butterfingers.
Butterfingers stink.
Good point here. You're telling me in terms of chocolate-based candy, you're telling me that you rather have a Kit Kat than a Reese's Pieces or a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup? I'm saying you, Kit Kat does not get a medal stand in the chocolate candy Olympics. A terrible opinion. We might get back to this. We might not get back to it. I know Halloween is right around the corner, so we'll ask these questions here. But almond M&Ms, that's the worst text we've got since somebody said that Coming to America wasn't funny. Somebody text that into this radio show, and I've never been able to look at the text line differently. At that point, that's when it became me and Rob against the text line, when that opinion was sent in here. I thought we were a family. I thought we were all in this together. Not with these kind of opinions about almond M&Ms. Disgraceful. Hit the music, Rob, please. Thank you. Can we stop doing this? Can we please give the Heisman to the right person? Because that person is Travis Hunter. He had another 100-yard receiving day. That's his 5th on the season. He had another multiple pass breakups day. You were telling me that there is a player that is going to have over 1,000 yards receiving, over double-digit touchdowns. He's also going to have multiple interceptions and a forced fumble. And everybody is trying to tell me, oh, give it to Cam Ward. Oh, give it to Ashton Genty. No. If I was a Heisman voter, I don't need to see anymore. The Heisman Trophy winner resides in Boulder, Colorado. Colorado still alive in the Big 12, and they clinched the bowl game. It is funny how we couldn't stop talking about Colorado when they were terrible. Now that they're good, no one has anything to say about Colorado. Go Buffaloes. Go Travis Hunter. Go Shedeur Sanders. Go Deion Sanders. I can't wait to see you here coming up in a couple of weeks. Hopefully the weather is decent, because I will not be at Arrowhead if the weather is not decent. But Travis Hunter should be the favorite for the Heisman Trophy.
Carrington, my first helmet sticker to a guy who I don't believe should win the Heisman, but should be going to New York, and that's Dillon Gabriel. Dillon Gabriel has been the best quarterback in college football this year. Again, not saying he should win, but he should be flown to New York and set up there next to Gabriel and Gentry and Ward. That he should be part of this, because what he did against a ranked Illinois team, and I know Illinois is not some world beater. Illinois is not some watch out for them, but they were a team that was 6-1 going into the weekend, and the Ducks thumped them, and they did it on the back of Dillon Gabriel. Now, it might be a little unfair to have 45-year-olds like Dillon Gabriel running around college football, but 18-26 for 291 and 3 touchdowns. He's been sensational. Oregon's the best team in the country. He's the quarterback. He's the reason they're so good. He should be going to New York to watch someone else win the Heisman.
Are we sure that the best team in the country is not Penn State?
I am not totally sure. But
okay, I'm just asking that question.
But those two teams will match up in Indianapolis, won't they?
We will find out this weekend. Ohio State travels to Happy Valley. I have already put my bet in. I'm taking Penn State at home as an underdog. You're going to give me points with Penn State with the way they've played this season. I think they get off the schneid, and I think they win this weekend against the Buckeyes. Let me give you one more helmet sticker. Let me go ahead and take Marcel Reed. He is the backup, maybe the starting quarterback at Texas A&M. That game was close. That was until Marcel Reed came in. 9 carries, 62 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also threw 2 passes. He got 70 yards as Texas A&M, 38-23. A&M, unless they have a monumental collapse in November, they are going to the college football playoff. Even if they lose to Texas in the final game of the year, they have Auburn, South Carolina, and New Mexico State. You win those 3 games, they are going to the college football playoff. Congratulations to the Aggies. Marcel Reed gets a helmet sticker.
God, I hate SEC scheduling. New Mexico State is still on their schedule for November. Stupid SEC scheduling. I'm going to get my final helmet sticker to Jake Retzlaff, the quarterback at BYU. Talk about a team that no one saw coming this year. They are the absolute toast of college football. They won on the road over the weekend at UCF. They have a very soft schedule down the stretch. And BYU, the Cougars, could not only be playing in Arlington in the Big 12 title game, they could win that game and have a bye in the college football playoff. They got to get past a rival in Utah this weekend, but if they can do that, BYU with a real shot to be in the Rose Bowl, which is something absolutely no one saw coming. They get a helmet sticker.
All right, coming up on the other side, let's get back to talking about football. There are a couple of teams that we can bury in the AFC. I'll tell you who that is. Keep it right here. So Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
Hey, Chiefs Kingdom, as the official whiskey sponsor of the NFL, it's not a kickoff without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. And that's why we've built the Crown Royal Rig, an absurdly awesome 18-wheeler delivering the generous spirit to stadiums and tailgates across the country. Follow the Royal Rig on its journey from city to city, bringing together local cuisine, NFL legends, and the opportunity to pack a purple bag for charity and win tickets to Super Bowl 59. Visit crownroyal.com for rules and more. Please drink responsibly.
Calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. You can enter to win a chance to be on the field for the March to the Three-Peat. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Tune in this week to Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti, where they break down all the headlines in the NFL. Presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com and get a great deal on the iPhone 16 Pro.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
If you're living with chronic joint pain in your knees, hips, lower back, and shoulders, I've got exciting news for you.
Emmett Smith, all-time rushing leader and Hall of Famer.
Now you can get relief from pain without harmful medications and surgery. Call my guys at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics specializes in biologic therapies that can repair and restore damaged tissue. I'm talking about natural pain treatments now available, not just for pro athletes, but to people like you.
At QC Kinetics, we're seeing patients every day who suffer from chronic joint pain but who desperately want
wanted to avoid surgery. We're treating joint pain with biologic therapies, regenerative solutions with long-lasting results.
Listen, it's all about getting your life back. Playing touch football with kids, walking upstairs pain-free, getting back on a job, and patients at QC Kinetics are raving about the results.
QC Kinetics. Call to learn more about restorative treatments that can get you back in the game.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Robinhood is introducing forecast contracts so you can trade the presidential election. Through Robinhood, you can now trade financial derivatives contracts on who will win the U.S. presidential election, Harris or Trump, and watch as contract prices react to real-time market sentiment. Each contract you own will pay $1 on January 8th, 2025 if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress. Learn more about the presidential election contracts on Robinhood at robinhood.com/election. The risk of loss in trading commodities interest can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Displayed prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. Learn more at robinhood.com/election.
You can listen to the play-by-play of the Chiefs and Bucks game with Mitch, Danon, and Clean right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, and Odyssey Sports Station.
All right. I want to play some audio for you guys before we get moving in this conversation, because sometimes, man, it's like the sports gods just know. This was recently that people were talking this way. Now, I remember hearing myself say it last week, that I said, if there's leaves still on the trees, don't talk to me about the Ravens or Buffalo or any of these teams. And Mike Greenberg, who earlier today tweeted that the Jets season is one of the biggest disappointment in the last 15 years, even though most of us knew that the Jets were going to be disappointing, he went on Get Up last week and said this about the Baltimore Ravens. Listen to this nonsense that was spewed on Channel 33. For those of you that know, you know.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you guys. All that making fun of me you did when I said he's the MVP of the league. And oh no, everyone yelled at me. He's not even the MVP on his own team. Derrick Henry is the difference. You watch that team with him, they are markedly different. Lamar is brilliant. He's been brilliant a long time. This team is markedly different because of that.
You remember? Hold on. You remember?
So Lamar's not the MVP of his team just because he's been good for a long time? No, I mean, he threw 5 touchdown passes.
Henry
I want to focus on.
In the same way that Randy Moss was the difference when he came to New England. Tom Brady was already a great quarterback. Yeah. But that elevated everything, basically to the point of being unstoppable. Yes. And that's what this guy has done. If this guy is healthy, nobody beats the Ravens.
When Derrick Henry is healthy, no one beats the Ravens. Even though the Ravens lost in week 1 of the NFL season with the healthy Derrick Henry, even though they lost in week 2 to the Las Vegas Raiders, who are one of the 5 worst teams in the National Football League, and yesterday they lost to the Cleveland Browns. But nobody is beating the Ravens when they have a healthy Derrick Henry. You know what I want to do? I want to go ahead and bury 3 teams. Now, I'm not burying the Ravens like they're not going to make the postseason. They're going to make the postseason. They're one of the 7 best teams in the AFC. I also think they're going to win their division. But that 1 seed conversation, give me some music, Rob. You've got 3 losses. It's Halloween. You're 4 games back of Kansas City. It's Halloween. You are not the 1 seed. Baltimore, when you go on the road to play Kansas City in the AFC Championship game and it's 13 degrees outside in January, when you go on the road in Kansas City to play the Chiefs and it's negative 2 degrees outside, you have no one to blame but yourself. You lost to the Chiefs. You lost to the Raiders. You lost to the Browns. That 1 seed conversation, done, finito, kaput. I'm not talking about the Ravens anymore in that conversation. I've eliminated them. There are now 3 teams who could get the 1 seed. And I'm only giving Houston and Buffalo respect in this conversation because they still play the Chiefs. Buffalo could be the 1 seed. It's possible. Houston could be the 1 seed. It's possible. The Chiefs, they're the favorite. I was looking at the app earlier today. The Chiefs are minus 290 to be the 1 seed in the AFC. So Vegas is telling you they're overwhelming favorites. But I know who the 1 seed will not be. It will not be the Baltimore Ravens. So that is our first send-off. We are sending off the Ravens 1 seed chances. You're done. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Take your 2 seed, your 3 seed. I'd worry about winning the division because you might be going on the road for 3 straight games because Pittsburgh might win that division. Let's bury another team. Can we bury the New York Jets? I'm tired of the New York Jets. I mean this in all seriousness. I don't want to see the Jets anymore. I don't want to see them on a Thursday night. I don't want to see them on a Sunday night. I don't want to see them on a Monday night. I don't want to see them pop up on the red zone. They're done. They're done. They're the East Coast Las Vegas Raiders. That's who they are. Get them away from me. I don't want to hear about Breece Hall. I don't want to hear about Devontae Adams. I don't want to hear about Aaron Rodgers. I said this all offseason. If your escape plan and your savior is a 40-year-old quarterback who didn't play in 2023, it's a bad plan. And you know what the Jets are? A bad plan. They lost to the Patriots, bro. You cooked. You're not making the postseason. You're not making anything. What you guys need to be preparing for is to draft a quarterback in round 1 of the NFL draft and telling that quarterback to sit for a year behind Aaron Rodgers. You need to be focused on which one you're going to draft, Quinn Ewers or Carson Beck. That needs to be your focus if you're the New York Jets and not turning this thing around. So, Rob, hit me with a little bit of music so we can send off the New York Jets with their season because they're done. The New York Jets are done, my friend, and I'm tired of them. I don't want to watch them on any more nationally televised games. They got Houston. They got on the road against Miami. They still got Buffalo. They got Seattle. They're done. They lost 5 straight games. Their 2 wins are the Titans and the Patriots. You are the company you keep. You're in the same vein as the Patriots and the Tennessee Titans. You don't deserve to be on Thursday Night Football and Monday Night Football and playing in these games anymore. Jets and Colts on Sunday Night Football. Let's go ahead and flex that out right now. Let's be preemptive with this. We gotta watch them one more time. Let's get them out of there. Let's get them out of there. No. Put that game on ESPN Plus is where that game needs to be. All right, Rob, there's one more team we need to get rid of. Have you ever been in the process on Sunday, and I'm sure some of you can relate to this. Have you ever been on the process on Sunday when you're thinking about what bets you're going to make, and you're kind of talking to your friends about it, and your friend warns you? Your friend warns you and tells you, hey, man, I don't trust him. You're like, oh, man, you don't know what you're talking about. You start arguing with your boy. I had this conversation with my dear friend Ian yesterday. Hey, man, I don't know. I wouldn't pick Cincinnati. Man, they haven't won a home game all year. They're 3-4. If they win this, they'll be 4-4. They're still in the playoff picture. I'm going to roll with them. And then you just witness the money that you paid. You witness it lit on fire. We are at Halloween, and the only teams that the Bengals have beaten are Carolina, the Giants, and Cleveland. And not the Jameis Winston Browns, the Deshaun Watson Browns. That doesn't count. So, Rob, hit my music one more time. There's another team that we need to send off. It's the Cincinnati Bengals. You're done. I also don't want you on Monday night, don't want you on Sunday night, don't want you on Thursday Night Football. You're done. I'm tired of doing this with the Bengals. We give the Bengals these different rules. They start off the season super slow, and then they have to play nearly perfect football to dig themselves out of the fact that they lost 4 of their first 5 games of the year. They lost to New England. They lost to everybody. They're done, is what they are. They're cooked. They're not a playoff team. They need to be focused on what they're going to do with T. Higgins and paying Jamar Chase and how they can better block and protect Joe Burrow. That needs to be the focus of the Cincinnati Bengals, not making the postseason. And when they lose to the Raiders at home this weekend, that's going to tell us everything that we need to know. They're done. So I just wanted to go ahead and send off 2 teams, and 1, I just eliminated you from a certain conversation. I'm not eliminating the Ravens. I'm just telling you they're not in the 1 seed conversation anymore. And we also can go ahead and put flowers on the grave of the Jets. They're done for the rest of the year. We also can do that same thing with the Cincinnati Bengals because they too, they share a coffin with the New York Jets. They both are done for the remainder of the season.
It's pretty crazy that we're not even at Halloween yet, and both the AFC East and the AFC West race is over. I mean, that's wild. Like, we know 2 playoff teams right now. The Chiefs know when the AFC West is catching them. That's done. And the Bills. The Bills are ahead of the playoffs. Congrats. You get to host a playoff game this year again, Buffalo. Party on, because the Jets, Patriots, Dolphins, Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders have all put up 0 resistance. So before we even put Halloween candy into little, tubs to hand out, we have 2 playoff teams locked in. That's pretty cool.
I mean, there's some other teams that I could go ahead and throw the dirt on, but you know what? Some of those teams are just obvious teams at this point. I'm not here to waste anybody's time. You know the Patriots aren't making the postseason. The Browns are 2-6. Tennessee is 1-6. Some of these teams, I don't need to waste your time. You know they're not going anywhere. But some of these teams that are on the fringe, you know what, Cincinnati? You guys should look at being sellers is what you should look at being. The Jets, you guys, I know you were just Devontae Adams buyers. You guys need to look at being sellers. Is Breece Hall available? You need to start having those kind of conversations if you are the New York Jets, because you're done out here is what you are. You are done. Finito is what you are. All right, coming up on the other side, Rob, let's get back to the Kansas City Chiefs after they won on the road yesterday against Las Vegas. Chiefs fans, I want you guys to hold your head proudly about something you did yesterday. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Kansas Lottery Play On app. Scan your tickets for more chances to win.
At Shane Company, our engagement rings are the perfect blend of design, function, and beauty, each one a unique work of art. We meticulously craft our bridal jewelry in our jeweler's workshop to the highest standards, expertly setting each diamond by hand, ensuring the structure is perfectly balanced, and sizing everything for the perfect fit. Shane Company offers a free unmatched lifetime warranty because your engagement ring is an heirloom that was made to last. You'll cherish your ring today, tomorrow, and forever. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Right now, 38 states allow for sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 professional soccer teams, the KC Current and St. Louis City. These days, Republicans and Democrats don't agree on much, but the Republican and Democratic candidates for governor are both supporting Amendment 2 because it means more money for education. Amendment 2 isn't like the lottery. There's a strong constitutional guarantee. The new money from sports betting will go to our schools, $100 million for education without raising property taxes. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Vote yes on 2. Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education. Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal. That's all.
How about 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models? That'll get you a low monthly payment. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Google highest review rated Subaru retailer in Kansas City based on 2023 Google Analytics.
Dick Ray, he's your heating magician. Dick Ray, he's a man on a mission. In the dead of winter when the furnace is broken and a chill is in the air, you can call Dick Ray and he'll fix it up with care. He's always there. Call Dick Ray, he's your heating magician.
Hey, it's Dick Ray. Schedule your furnace tune-up today. Only $79. Call 913-DICK-RAY.
Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. This year, I get to host, and Hy-Vee's going to make it convenient for me. They have made fresh, ready-to-heat and serve favorites like succulent turkey, honey-glazed spiral ham, prime rib, savory side dishes, and dessert. Hy-Vee's Taste of the Holidays event is coming up Saturday, November 2nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can sample all of the amazing ready-to-serve meal pack options or just get a little holiday inspiration. This holiday season, let Hy-Vee do the cooking while you take the credit. Only at Hy-Vee.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs' score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
You've been waiting, and now is the time. Golden Oak Lending has fixed mortgage rates at 4.875%. But don't wait. This rate won't last forever. Call today and take advantage of our low 4.875 fixed rate. Call 913-890-GOLD. That's 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.784 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
What's up, sandwich heads? Today on Steve-O's Sandwich Reviews, we've got the tips and tricks to the best sandwich order. And it all starts with this little guy right here. Pepsi Zero Sugar. Partial to pastrami, craving a Cubano. Yeah, sounds delicious, but boom! Add the crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi Zero Sugar and cue the fireworks. Lunch, dinner, or late night, it'll be a sandwich worth celebrating. Trust me, your boy's eaten a lot of sandwiches in his day, and the one thing I can say with absolute fact, every bite is better with Pepsi.
What if I told you that there was a single management software that could handle your CRM, accounting, manufacturing, marketing, inventory, sales, and everything in between for a fraction of the cost of the dozens of disconnected platforms most companies rely on to manage their business? Sounds pretty good, right? Well, that's Odoo. Odoo is the end-all, be-all for any business of any size, and it's ready to help your company reach the next level and beyond. Learn more at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
What does it mean to be the official information technology provider for the Chiefs? It means everything. Technology Group Solutions makes sure everything runs flawlessly for the millions of fans that attend games and the hundreds of millions of fans that comprise Chiefs Kingdom around the world. Technology Group Solutions can deploy that same dedication, problem solving, and incredible service to ensure your business runs smoothly. Technology Group Solutions, powering Chiefs Kingdom, and ready to do the same for you.
Kansas Lottery Play-On app. Scan your tickets for more chances to win.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Kansas side, 435 southbound slows past Kansas Avenue and is very heavy down to Woodend with an accident blocking 2 right lanes. 35 southbound a bit sluggish as you make your way from 67th Street down towards the split with 69 Highway. Alan Carr, 96.5 The Fan, traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Hollywood Brown. Welcome to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs fans, I want to give you a lot of credit for what I saw yesterday, and we'll get back to Joshua Uche here coming up in just a bit. I want to give you guys a lot of credit because I noticed it as the game was going on. It was very hard not to notice it. But at the end of the game, whenever Xavier Worthy scored the touchdown and he ran over to the sideline, for those of you that watch college football, it looked like the Chiefs were the home team yesterday. Now, I understand that Vegas has turned itself into a touristy place for other NFL fans that, you know, it's a bucket list to see your team play a road game. It's a very easy trip to make. It's one of the newer stadiums in the country. So a lot of opposing teams' fans are going to go take over that stadium. It is like Chiefs fans wear it with a badge of honor. This is our stadium. It's not yours. It is Arrowhead West. We have won a Super Bowl here. This is our stadium, and you guys are going to be the road team. Rob, yesterday during the game, they were talking about the Raiders doing a silent count. They're the home team. That's what college teams do. What you saw the Chiefs do yesterday is what college teams do. Notre Dame comes in, LSU comes in, and they take over your stadium. And it's not just a little designated area that they give opposing teams' fans. Like, we all watch college football where they put the opposing team's fans in this little bitty corner. Rob, you're a season ticket holder for a college basketball team. For KU basketball games, they put the opposing team's fans, they put you up there next to Wilt Chamberlain's number. They put you up next to Wilt's number is what they do. It was 70-30, it looked on the television yesterday. That's what it looked like. It looked like a Chiefs game, a Chiefs home game yesterday. I've said this from the very beginning about Las Vegas. They feel like a team, kind of like the Chargers. They feel like a team without a country. They had an identity. They had a fan base. They decided to chase the bag and move away from that fan base, and now you don't know who they are. Oakland was a tough place to play. They had an identity. You knew if you were the opposing team's fan base that, hey, you can't sit in that part of the stadium. Maybe you want to go to a Chiefs-Raiders game, but you know this is not the part that you can sit in. You feel like you own the joint. You walk in there and you can kick your feet up. Your team is about to come in there. Your team is about to put belt to behind to the Raiders. You're going to take over their stadium. You're going to gamble. You're going to drink. You're going to have a great time, and you're going to go home. That's what the NFL has allowed to happen to the Las Vegas Raiders and the Oakland Raiders franchise. They've allowed you to come there, go to Aria, go to Mandalay Bay, have a great weekend. Your team is going to come in here. Your team is going to win. You're going to have a great weekend coming to Las Vegas. That's what they've created. They don't have an identity anymore. What are the Raiders? Honestly, what are the Raiders? They used to be something in the 60s and 70s, the stories, the hatred. That's not what it is now. They created a stadium for tourists is what they've done. They created the only neutral site stadium in the NFL. Even the Rams have a home field advantage. Maybe the Chargers don't, but the Rams have a home field advantage. That's not what the Raiders have. That's your stadium now. You guys loan it out a little bit. You let the Raiders use it from time to time, but we're going to come in here once a year. We're going to buy up all of these seats. We're going to take over. We're going to do our chants, our cheers, and we're going to see. Patrick Mahomes has never lost in that venue before. Patrick Mahomes is almost 30. Patrick Mahomes is going to have 3 children before he loses in that building and win a Super Bowl in that building. They got to change the name, bro. They got to change the name. They got to go with the local Kansas City company, not Allegiant. That place has got to be called Charlie Hustle Stadium. That place has got to be called Boulevard Stadium, Jay Rieger Stadium, Allegiant. You gotta trade the rights to the stadium. That's not your stadium anymore. It's embarrassing what the NFL has let happen to the Las Vegas Raiders yesterday. And Chiefs fans, I'm serious. I give you guys all the credit in the world. What you did yesterday, that is something that college fan bases do. That's what LSU does. That's what Ohio State does. That's where you are now. You're the Cowboys now. You're the Steelers. You come in with the towels. You come in with the chant. You come in with the cheers. And you take over their stadium. Congratulations, man.
I mean this in all sincerity. I'm Googling the stat. I'm trying to find it. But I saw a stat that Andy Reid now has as many wins at Allegiant as Josh McDaniels did.
Yeah, I saw that too.
That is an incredible stat.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's just absolutely mind-boggling. You said it perfectly. It's a college team. Carrington, we grew up in an era where the Chiefs were great, but there was a lull in like 08 to 13, basically. There was a lull in Chiefs football. And Chiefs fans, you know this. Pittsburgh would come in here, and it would be 60-40 Chiefs fans. There'd be a lot of Steelers. Packers, same deal. Vikings, remember Chris Jones sounded off after a game. Why there's so many Vikings fans in the stadium? Lions fans in the opener last year had a ton of fans in the stadium.
It was a bunch.
But you know what? The Chiefs are one of the 4 or 5 franchises that do it to everyone else now. For a long time, we saw it from afar. You'd be watching a Rams game. You'd be like, man, there are a ton of Packer fans inside that stadium.
Mm-hmm.
That is how it works when the Chiefs go on the road now, and it really doesn't matter where. A couple years ago, it was Houston, and Houston was like the destination Chief fan game. Everyone was in that stadium. It was a road game for Davis Mills & Co. in their own stadium. This year, Atlanta was the spot. There were a ton of Chiefs fans in Atlanta. You mentioned it. I mean, every year Allegiant's that way. Every year Mile High is that way. Every year that it feels like SoFi is that way. The Chiefs, they might not be the Packers or the Steelers because those are just different animals. Like, that's just a different beast. But the Chiefs are far closer to the Packers. They are far closer to the Steelers in the fact that, hey, we're going to show up and we're selling out. Not because we have Patrick Mahomes and we have the best team in the world, the whole deal. They're selling out because our fans are coming, and you're about to be overwhelmed. Your concession lines are longer, but everyone's making more money because the Chiefs have walked in.
You're listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. All right, let's talk a little bit more about Joshua Uche. The Chiefs have made a trade. They have traded a 2026 sixth-round pick to go acquire the pass rusher for the New England Patriots. So he was a second-round pick back in 2020. He went to Michigan. He had a fantastic 2022 campaign. And now he is a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. Bill Bellichick, who is now turned into one of the better media members. That is always how it works. They will be terrible as interviews, terrible in press conferences. Then they join the media, and now they become chatty patties. Bill Belichick is one of the best people in NFL media. Why could you have done this for the 20 years when you were the head coach of the New England Patriots? He was on Pat McAfee earlier. He has basically been the general manager for the Patriots over the last couple of years. Here are his thoughts on the Chiefs move.
I mean, look, Pat, how many players in the sixth round in 25 do you think are really going to help the Kansas City Chiefs win? I don't know. I wouldn't say there's probably a long list of them. Could Uche help them win this year? Absolutely. How many players in the fifth round next year are going to help Kansas City win? I don't know. Be lucky if the guy makes the team. I mean, the Chiefs have a pretty good team. Can Hopkins help them win? Sure. Like, those trades don't really amount to much of anything. In the big picture, if you want a fifth back, I'm sure they can move back in the first or second round and get a fifth, or probably get 5 or 6 of them if they really want fifth round picks. But I think what they need are players that will impact the game and help them, address their depth in different areas. And I think they've done a great job of that.
This is a move that we have seen Brett Veach do so many times over the course of the last 5 to 7 years or so. At this point, it has a name. This is the Brett Veach special. These are the kinds of players that they like to pick up for cheap. It is a buy low. They love a good reclamation project, What's that show? American Pickers? There's some show like that. You guys know what I'm getting at here. That's what the Chiefs are. They like to pick up an Emmanuel Ogbah. They like to pick up Damian Wilson. They like to pick up those kind of players. You get them for pennies on the dollar, If it works, great. If it doesn't work, you didn't really acquire anything. Joshua Uche is coming into this situation with no expectations. None. No expectations. You're not paying him nothing. He's making less than $1 million to play for the Chiefs for the rest of the season. So it's less than $1 million. You gave up a 2026 sixth-round pick. You will get that pick back. Whether it is you move back in a trade, whether you make another trade at some point between now and then, maybe you get a compensatory pick. In some ways, Joshua Uche will become free to the Kansas City Chiefs, and all you had to do was give up the salary cap space to go acquire that player. That is a nothing kind of move for the ability to see if he's something. If he's a guy that gets you 3-4 sacks between now and the Super Bowl, you will absolutely take that move. It's a guy that you get an extended look in your system, and if it works, great. We'll bring you back next year on another cheap 1-year kind of contract. If it doesn't work, hey, we appreciate it. We took a dice roll, and it didn't work out. These are the kind of moves that the Patriots we saw do in front of us for 20 years. This is a really smart move. I don't want to paint this like this is some home run move, but no one should look at it being a home run move given the compensation that you gave up. If that's the kind of compensation that you have given up, trust me, the NFL was shopping that player around to anybody. There's no money attached to it. Every team in the league has a 6th-round pick 2 drafts from now. Kansas City sees some value. They love players that they've scouted before, that they trust. It didn't work in its current situation, and now they think with this system, with this scheme, with this defensive coordinator, we think we can make it work. That's good. Now, I am curious your thoughts about this, Rob, 913-586-7965. I don't think this has any bearing on the future in regards to the trade deadline for the Kansas City Chiefs. Maybe the Chiefs make a move by next Tuesday. Maybe they don't make a move. I don't think that Joshua Uche is stopping you from making a move. This is nothing on the salary cap, and you didn't even give up an asset in the upcoming NFL draft. I do not think that adding $1 million worth of salary and a 2026 draft pick is stopping you from getting Deontay Johnson if that's who you really want to go pick up between now and the end of the deadline. If there's another corner that you want to pick up because of the injury to Jalen Watson, and we saw that Najee Johnson left the game with a concussion, I do not think that this trade is stopping you. This is a pure and strictly depth move for the Kansas City Chiefs. This is not the kind of swing that we just saw them take with DeAndre Hopkins, where you gave up an immediate pick to go pick him up. So I still think the Chiefs are potentially buyers. One of the great things about being as good as the Chiefs are is you'll get the benefit of the doubt. If the Chiefs want to make another move, great. If the Chiefs don't want to make another move and they think they have enough now in-house to go win the Super Bowl, their track record would tell you that they're probably going to be right. So it's a little bit of a free roll, so to speak, for Kansas City the rest of the way. I would still like to see them make another move at wide receiver. I'm still all for a late-round pick swap in this year's NFL draft. Maybe you trade your 6th-round pick this year, you get a wide receiver back, and you get that team's 7th-round pick, and you maneuver around the board a little bit. You bring on 2 players, so Uche and a wide receiver to be named later at a relatively low cost. You can still fit all of those guys in under the cap. You're still anticipating getting Charles Omenihu back at some point between now and the playoffs. You're expecting to get Hollywood Brown back between now and then. There's still some player movement to be had. I am still on the side of them going out to get another receiver. I don't think that this trade has any impact on that.
I agree. I don't think they're done. But I think their next move is going to look a lot more like this than it did, maybe not the D-Hop trade, but it's going to look a lot more like this than the Amari Cooper trade. Maybe that's the best way to say it. I think the Chiefs might add a corner. They might add another wideout. I think it's probably one of those 2 positions. But I think it's far more likely they give up a conditional 6th or a 2026 5th or something in that vein when it comes to compensation for a player, more so than what the Bills get from Amari Cooper. Basically, I'm saying I think it's more likely they're going to add Demarcus Robinson for nothing than they add Deontay Johnson. I think a corner who might be a Mike Hughes type, very toolsy, but never had it come together, and they give up a 7th for him is the move coming. I don't think a splash and we go, whoa, they did that the way the Bills did when they added Cooper or the Jets did when they added Adams. I believe it is late round pick or late round next year pick for a depth type of piece that has upside they believe they can get the most out of. I don't know they're done, but I think the idea of them making splashy moves is done, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and that makes a lot of sense. You know we love a good cross-sport comparison here. I won't even make a basketball reference here. This feels like a Paul DeYoung kind of move for the Chiefs. That's what it feels like to me. A guy who can come in, and you remember Paul DeYoung had clear weaknesses, but a guy that could hit for a little bit of power and you felt comfortable putting in your lineup. That's who Josh Uche sounds like to me. He is a guy who has shown you if you put other good pass rushing pieces around him, he can have some success. I'm not expecting him to come in here and be an 11-sack guy the way that he was in 2022. But if you were telling me that Mike Dana is potentially going to miss a little bit more time than maybe we had anticipated, and now your rotation of players is Felix Onyeudike, you got Joshua Uche, you got George Karlaftis, you're waiting on Charles Omenihu, that's a pretty solid defensive line that you can get through. And you also can get ready if an injury happens. You got to be prepared for these things in the National Football League. I don't have to tell you guys, being fans of the Chiefs, that you got to prepare for injuries. That's all this season has been for the Chiefs, is preparing for an injury. They had an injury at running back. They filled it with Kareem Hunt. They've had injuries at wide receiver. They went out and they've made trades. Mike Dana didn't play in yesterday's game. You went out and you made a trade. So this move to me is not about the future, but it could potentially be about the future, right? Like, let's see how the rest of this season goes. But I do think it's about building depth for your roster and also preparing for possible attrition that can happen between now and the end of the season. I want to play for you guys a couple of cuts. Adam Schefter was on the Pat McAfee show earlier today. He believes that Deontay Johnson is going to get traded here in the next week.
Deontay Johnson, in my mind, is going to be traded by next week. I don't know whether it'll be this week or next week, but I expect that Carolina and Deontay Johnson will part ways and each side will go its own way. And the question is where he winds up. And I think he gets traded. I think we keep waiting for Cleveland to trade Zadarius Smith. It's another guy that I think would be on the lookout here to be traded. And those are some obvious names as we speak. There will be others. We've already seen a busy, active trade deadline period with all the wide receiver movement and Devontae Adams and Amari Cooper and DeAndre Hopkins. More will be coming. Deontay, I think, will get moved at some point in time here.
I will be very, very curious, very, very curious to see what Deontay Johnson goes for. I could be the only person doing this, and that's perfectly fine. It will be impossible for me to not look at the trade compensation for the three wide receivers. And I am removing Devontae Adams for this because, one, I don't think the Raiders were ever going to trade him to a team in their division. Like, I don't think there was a chance that Devontae Adams was going to be playing against the Raiders this weekend. I don't think that was going to happen. And I also think that he was going to the Jets. If Deontay Johnson gets traded, you had Amari Cooper get traded, DeAndre Hopkins get traded, and then we think that Deontay Johnson's going to get moved. Now, we know what the first two guys have gone from in terms of compensation. I'll be very curious to see if Deontay Johnson gets traded, what he gets traded for, and how much money the Panthers are willing to eat. And then we will have all the information because I'm now on the other side of this. I don't think the Cooper Kupp is being traded. I think the momentum is now shifted the other way. The Rams are only one game back in their division. 4-4 is atop the NFC West right now. So I don't think the Rams are going to be sellers anymore. So I don't think the Chiefs are getting Tutu Atwell. I don't think they're getting DeMarcus Robinson. I think the Rams could win that division. If you were telling me that San Francisco doesn't feel like the Niners of old, and we're still not sure when Christian McCaffrey is coming back, and Seattle's okay, and I guess Arizona's all right too, I think the Rams are still firmly in that division. And they play Seattle next week. So I think we're going to get a lot of answers, at least when it comes to the Rams. But Adam Schefter was on Pat McAfee's show, and he does not expect a trade involving Cooper Kupp.
Cardinals in first place in the NFC West, and I think the Rams are one game back.
Yep. Yeah.
And, the Cooper Kupp stuff, all the conversations about it, I think the Rams were being a smart, intelligent, forward-thinking organization pondering two different worlds. What if we don't win here before the trade deadline and the season gets further away from us? Would we consider trading Cooper Kupp? Well, in that scenario, of course, we'd have to look at it if we got the offer that we wanted. But they won, and now they're a game out. And so you heard Sean McVay after the game say, no, we have Cooper Kupp, and we're not moving off Cooper Kupp. And that's what I expect. You're one game back. You're a different offense when Kupp and Nakua are out there the way they were Thursday night against the Vikings. And, unless some team steps up and gives them something that I can't envision, Cooper Kupp is staying in L.A. and will be there past the trade deadline.
So that was Adam Schefter. I don't think that Cooper Kupp is getting traded anymore. I certainly was on the other side of that last week. I did think they were going to move on. The fact that they won on Thursday Night Football against the Vikings, the fact that they are only one game back. I mean, out of the 4 teams in the NFC West, the first 3 teams are 4-4, and the Rams are 3-4, and they play Seattle coming up. So I just don't think that the Rams are going to wave the white flag and they're going to trade Cooper Kupp. They probably should trade Cooper Kupp, especially because Puka Nacua looks so good on Thursday Night Football, and I still think you can get a pretty decent draft pick for Cooper Kupp. But NFL teams, they're just usually inclined to go for it. And I think the Rams are at least going to try to go for it. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we're going to be joined by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Coming up on the other side, Rob, let's get back to talking a little bit of college football. Man, you almost had it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most, like dinner with loved ones, letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Cap off an exciting Week 8 with the chance to win on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins on tonight's game. We got an exciting Monday Night Football game between the Giants and the Steelers. All right, I'm going to take the Steelers at home. I'm also going to take Russell Wilson to throw 2 touchdown passes. I'm also going to take an anytime touchdown from Pat Freiermuth. I think he's going to try to get the tight end involved tonight. You can either take that same game parlay, or you can create your own, or use one of the pre-built right there on the app. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/CDOT to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Do you wake up with joint pain? Does it hurt when you do even the most routine physical activity? Have they told you it's time for knee or hip replacement surgery? Hey, it's Bob Fesco. Stop what you're doing and listen. You deserve a life of comfort and ease with no surgery and no meds, and QC Kinetics can get you there. You can have real lasting relief from chronic joint pain without drugs, without surgery, and without downtime. Discover your options with advanced regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. The consultation is absolutely free. This is an all-natural approach that harnesses your own body's healing properties to treat the root cause of your arthritis pain. So call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. It's QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. Call QC Kinetics today.
It's Derek Johnson, and this season, Sheep Metal Workers Local Number 2 are awarding one lucky school a $15,000 facilities enrichment grant. Tell us in 100 words why your school deserves the grant at helpmymocanschool.com and make this the best school season ever.
You hear that? That's the sound of another year counting down. Another year missing your revenue goal. Another year wondering why your marketing isn't more effective. Another year worried about next year. The clock is ticking, but you still have time. Time to contact the experts at Scale Marketing. Scale Marketing is a full-service marketing agency who is expert in lead generation and revenue growth. How expert? Our clients see an average of 20% growth in the first year alone, with sustained growth from there. It's all part of our process. From your traditional marketing to social media to paid search, we'll take a forensic approach, digging deep to find the root problems in your marketing strategy. Then we'll fix them fast. At Scale Marketing, we can't stop the clock, but we can change your company's future. Find out how you can make your marketing budget work harder and drive more revenue. Contact us at scalemarketing.com. That's scalemarketing.com.
Hey, sports fans, if you're not calling John Anthony, you're simply missing out. To prove it, I'm release your Monday Night Report absolutely free and recorded message line, 1-800-244-5506. New York at Pittsburgh tonight is going to be a monster game, and I've got the side and total. New York-Pittsburgh confirmed analysis, pro hoops, and special prop action. That's 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to sweep the board. Call now. Hear him for free on recorded message, 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. New York, Pittsburgh, plus hoops and special prop action. I love to go 5-0 with the season free. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506, or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Traffic's brought to you by Metro Ford, online at kcmetro4.com. Got a couple stalled cars along the southern lanes of the downtown loop, causing some slowdowns, and a few brake lights on the southern end of the triangle. Want more from your dealership? At Metro Ford, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. Family owned, just 10 minutes from downtown, packed with unbeatable value. Drive smarter only at Metro Ford, online at kcmetro4.com. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Kane is in the building.
Welcome to your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
All right. K-State fan, I'm going to tell you this off the top. This is the segment that you probably don't get as much credit that you deserve. I don't care how many points you won by against KU. You won a rivalry game in the Big 12, survive and advance. We saw Nebraska give Ohio State everything that they could handle this week. No one remembers this stuff. All you need to worry about is winning the rest of your games. You don't care how. You don't apologize how. I give K-State a lot of credit for how they battled, how they competed, how they ran the football. Avery, you can see his development. So, K-State, I don't want you to feel like you get slighted in this segment at all. I want to give you your props off the rip. Let's talk about Missouri. Missouri fans, I'm talking to you specifically. We all made a lot of excuses for this Missouri team the first 6 weeks of the season. We could tell that the car was leaking oil, and all we did was make excuses. They did not play well against Boston College. They didn't play well against Vanderbilt. I would argue that they haven't played well really all season, aside from the garbage teams. Any team that has had a pulse this season, Missouri has been extremely bland. My biggest frustration is this. This is year 5. Year 5 of Eli Drinkwitz as the head coach. In 5 years, he has been unable to develop any quarterback on his roster. Brady Cook was not yours. Brady Cook was left by Barry Odom. You have had 5 years. You have not recruited. You have not gotten a transfer. You have not improved the quarterback position in any way. Now, I'm sorry an injury happened to Brady Cook. I really am. And maybe this season would be different if Brady Cook was healthy all year. But it's football. You know what you should always be prepared for? An injury that could possibly happen to your quarterback. And we saw that Missouri is not prepared at all for an injury. That Drew Pine kid, he's bad. He's really bad. And I wouldn't usually be so critical of a college kid, but you know what? Drew Pine probably makes more to do his job than I do to do this job. He stinks. There's really no other way to put it. He stinks. And as long as he's the quarterback at Missouri, they should strongly consider running the Wildcat. The effort's not there. The energy's not there. The whole feng shui has been off with this Missouri team from start to finish. Now, Missouri will probably win 8 or 9 games, and that would be good under most years. All Missouri had to do this season was not regress. Nobody is saying that you had to be Georgia. Nobody is saying that you had to be Texas. Could you be A&M? Could you be Tennessee? You're not those schools. You're just, So you know what, Missouri? You're going to go to the Alamo Bowl or the Holiday Bowl or the Pop-Tart Bowl or the Independence Bowl. And in some years, you know what? That would be celebrated. I don't feel like celebrating this year. Missouri is worse in every single facet of playing football. They're not better at anything. And that's a direct reflection on coaching. It is. It's a direct reflection on coaching. They're not better on offense. They're not better on defense. They're not better on special teams. It's just frustrating. It's that simple. It's just frustrating. All right, Rob, let's talk about your team. I'm not going to be super hard on your team, even though your team, I saw someone say that Missouri was the biggest disappointment from the preseason top 25. I was trying to figure out what happened to Florida State. I was trying to figure out what happened to Kansas. Sure, Missouri might be going to the Alamo Bowl. What bowl game is KU going to? And when are they playing Florida State? Missouri ain't been good. They haven't been Florida State. Let's not do that. KU. This is the same story that we've seen all season. Jalen Daniels, he shows you flashes that he is still the quarterback that many of us thought that he was going to be at the very beginning of the season. And then in the same breath, some nonsense will occur. The interception he threw down the middle of the field. KU is putting a drive together at the end of the game. Jalen, you got your 4 or 5 yards. You got to get down and not take a hit. You got as many yards as you were going to get on this play. You got to live to play another down. And at no point this season has he done that. Has he lived to play another down? And his mistakes, they have drowned the Jayhawks this year. That's their biggest problem this season. There's other problems with this team, don't get me wrong. Their biggest problem is that their quarterback is a turnover machine. And they're just not talented enough everywhere else to overcome it. That's simple. They're not good enough at all the other areas you got to be to overcome the fact that you consistently lose the turnover differential. And you knew it. When Jalen Daniels fumbled that ball in the fourth quarter in the middle of the field, you knew K-State was going to win. If I was in I was texting all of my friends. It was K-State -1.5. Hey, are you awake? Are you in Kansas? Please place this bet for me. K-State's going to win this game. No one answered. I couldn't ask Rob to do it for me. I'm going to tell Rob to put a bet in for me against his team. Rob wasn't going to do that. He wouldn't even answer my text message. So KU, I know you guys are doing your best. You're doing the absolute best that you can. I know that you are. But this season hasn't gone like you thought it was going to go. Missouri. Well, you're something. You're something. You're plugging along. You're going to win 7, 8 games, and I'm sure some Missouri fans are going to tout this like this was a great year because they won 8, 9 games, and this is only the 14th time they've won 9 games in a year. I'm sorry. I watched these games. Missouri has not been impressive. Missouri has not played well. They've not been good. I don't even know how they're ranked still. It makes me question all the college football I've watched this year. If you're trying to tell me that Missouri is one of the 25 best teams in the country, something's wrong. If that's what you want me to believe. Something is wrong. And K-State, salute to you guys. You guys have done what you're supposed to do. Very simple. You guys have done what you're supposed to do. And now you look at your schedule. You just got to keep running a little bit further. And if you continue what you've been doing, you will have 2 games at the end of the season. And if you win both of those games, you have a chance to play for a national championship. There's no reason to lose to Arizona State at home in November in Manhattan, Kansas. There's no reason to lose to Cincinnati at home in November. There's no reason to lose these games. And Houston's terrible. Terrible. Houston lost to Kansas, if that's any inkling to let you know where they are. They lost to KU, and handedly they lost to KU. They got boat raced by the Jayhawks. Any team getting boat raced by the Jayhawks, we should question their D1 status. That's how they've been. K-State, if you continue, you will get all the credit you deserve. And leading into that Iowa State game, you guys will be the biggest story. So take care of business. I'm cheering for you. I can't say if Rob's cheering for you. I don't know if all of the 785 and 913 are cheering for you, but Carrington's cheering for you. Will you guys accept me? You guys see what happened when I joined on the bandwagon of a team. You guys don't see that? What team did I tell you I was on the bandwagon for?
Those haters can't stand us. Left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. Commanders.
I jumped on the Commanders wagon and look what's happened. One of the great regular season endings. I'm good luck. You could use me down the stretch. So K-State fan, I'm here asking if I can put in my official request. College football season is over for my team. I'm already looking at selling my Oklahoma tickets. I'm not going to Columbia to watch that nonsense. Neither one of those teams have a quarterback. You want me to sit out in the November cold to watch a 13-6 football game? I'll watch that at home. K-State fan, can I be a part of what you guys got going on right now? Just for the rest of the year, you know? Just for a couple of weeks. Let me hop on the bandwagon for a little bit. I'll bring you some good luck. We'll try to get more K-State guests on the show over the next couple of weeks. Let's go and sign Derek Young up. We can have John Kurtz come host the 5 o'clock hour with this K-State fan. I'm ready. You know what? It's been a while since you guys have had an afternoon host. I'm ready to be that I'm ready to fill that void in your life. It's been, 4 or 5 years since K-State has had an afternoon represent. I'm here to be that person for you. Please accept me.
Those haters can't stand us. Left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders.
Let's make a song like that for K-State. Who do we need to contact? Let's get the Dick Ray guy to make a K-State song. That's the best idea I've had in a long time. Let's get the Dick Ray guy to make a K-State jingle. That's something Mitch Holthus will be on board with. He's coming up next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Traffic's brought to you by Park and Go, your top choice for all covered airport parking. Cordell and Cordell traffic cams showing a collision eastbound 70 to 7th Street trafficway that is stopping traffic, and some slowdowns along the southern lanes of the downtown loop. Tackle your airport parking needs at Park and Go. Always the best service, always the best price. Open 24/7, fast and free shuttle services. All spots are covered. Reserve your spot today at bookparkandgo.com. Park and Go, family owned and operated. I'm Lori Pearson for 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Hey, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here for our new friends over at Heartland's Men's Health. I recently learned something. Did you know that half of the men over the age of 50 experience erectile dysfunction? It also can affect younger men. ED isn't just a medical issue. It can take a toll on your confidence and your relationships. And over at Heartland Men's Health, they believe that ED is treatable, and their expert team offers up solutions with a success rate that's over 90%. You can enjoy intimacy without the anxiety. Take back control. And for just $99, your initial visit includes a medical consultation, test, and even a test dose. And if it doesn't work, your visit is on the house. It's totally free. Men are getting back to enjoying a vibrant sex life just one day after their appointment with my friends over at Heartland's Men's Health, and that's what I want for you. Go stop by any one of the 3 area locations, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Don't settle. Pick up the phone and call my friend at Heartland's Men's Health at 844-447-6600 or check out heartlandmenshealth.com. Get your life back today.
I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
At Shane Company, we'll help you create a ring as unique as your love story. We have the biggest selection of diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and center stones in an array of colors, including sapphires in blue, pink, green, lavender, and more. Just the other day, a couple picked out a blue sapphire that perfectly matched her eyes, and they left knowing her ring was truly one of a kind. That's what happens at Shane Company. Come check us out. You might just fall in love with something unexpected. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Using the Labor Day weekend to get some work done? We got you. Stop by any store to save on oil, fuel system cleaner, wipers, and more. Looking for an end of summer wash? We've got deals for that too. Don't want to leave the garage? Get same-day delivery on AutoZone.com. Do Labor Day your way by getting something done at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling, serving all of KC.
From maintenance to emergency repairs, Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling will keep you warm when it matters most. Contact us today and stay cozy all season long. Comforting people is what we do. Comfort Systems is right for you. MyComfortSystems.com.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. As voice of Chiefs Kingdom, he's seen the lowest of lows and the highest of highs.
You can doubt the Chiefs. You can dislike the Chiefs. You can disrespect the Chiefs. You're going to have to deal with the Chiefs.
Your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Here's Mitch Holthus with CDOT on The Drive.
Let me tell you guys that Mitch Holthus' appearance on The Drive is presented by Silverstein Eye Center. Achieve your best vision and experience outstanding patient care at Silverstein Eye Center, and also by GEHA. They are a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's head to the phone lines right now to be joined by Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch, happy to have you on the show today. I missed you, Mitch. Where are you?
Hey, there's a lot of stuff going on today, including we've got the Kingdom Show tonight, right, at Olathe 151st Street with Justin Reed. But we also have, as soon as I'm off the show there, at 2 seconds, I'm out the door, Pat's Galas tonight, the Patrick and the 15 Mahomes Gala tonight at Lowe's. So lots going on in a busy week. So let's roll.
Absolutely. So, Mitch, let's just start with this. What is it like to see the Chiefs Kingdom sort of grow and evolve over the course of the years? That the Chiefs have always had a very passionate and loyal fan base, but yesterday it felt like a college team coming to take over another team's venue. When Xavier Worthy scored that touchdown, he went to the sideline. I didn't see many Raiders fans in attendance there. It sounded and felt like a Chiefs home game. You've seen, Raiders games in Oakland, in Vegas. What is it like to see Chiefs fans now just come in and just take over another team's stadium?
Yesterday took the cake, though, CDOT. I told the rest of our crew, and I told Dana, I don't think I've seen a stadium takeover like that in my 31 years as the voice of the Chiefs. I would venture to guess, I mean, I wish we could have the empirical data, that it looked like 70 to 75% Chiefs. And when the Chiefs run on the field for their last, time out before kickoff, it's like boo. But well, who's booing? Because these are Chiefs fans. So it's fake sound. SoFi does this, and so does Allegiant Stadium. But the black hole's not there anymore. Maybe some of those people come and travel to Vegas. Some of them, are fans from Vegas, but they're like, yeah, we got to like the Raiders, like we like other teams. It's just a weird dynamic. But to answer your point, it's not just that stadium on that day. We have seen the Chiefs Kingdom grow globally. The impact in Germany, for sure, has been felt, but it's really around the globe and coast to coast. The Chiefs have developed this following that goes well beyond the old environs of the Midwest Chiefs Kingdom. This is unprecedented, and unprecedented for our community and our region. We've never had a sports team that has captivated in the most popular game in our country like the Chiefs. That is empirical, and the data just keeps flowing in. The Chiefs, people love the Chiefs more and more throughout the whole country and really around the world.
Right now, we're talking to the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Mitch Holthus. It was just a lot of fun. It was exciting to see how people were yesterday and just kind of feel that energy. You could definitely feel it from the people in the attendance. All right, let's talk about the game. Let's talk about how the Chiefs won yesterday. There was a sequence there that, to me, showed you why the Chiefs are the Chiefs and why the Raiders are the Raiders. This game was still close, even though I didn't think that the Raiders were going to win this game. It was 17-13. The interception happens. The Raiders have the ball first and goal from the 3-yard line. They lost 3 yards and had a turnover on down. At that moment, the game was over to me, and that is why the Chiefs, in my opinion, have the best defense in the league and have been the best team in the league, and that is why the Raiders are going to pick top 5 coming up in a couple of months.
Andy Reid and I are going to talk about this tonight. It's worth a listen at about 6:10 tonight on 96.5 The Fan on our network, because I asked him to dive into this very thing. Here's what was impressive about it, CDOT, in that stand. The fact that Tranquil shoots the gap and defends the run. Justin Reed defends the check down pass to Alexander Madison. And then you get penetration and a sack from Karlaftis. And then the next, it holds them to a field goal. Then the next time they get nothing because it's Derek Nottie, it's Turk Wharton, it's Bolt was in there. I'm leaving somebody out here. It's like this. There were like 9 guys that all contributed, not even mention Chris Jones, who didn't get credit for any of that, but he helped make all of that happen. When you look at this Chiefs team and what they've been able to do in these 7 weeks defensively in goal to go or inside the 10 situations, CDOT, you can go years and not see this. In that game yesterday, first and goal at the 4, 3 points. First and goal at the 3, no points. Go back to the Atlanta game. First and 10 for the Falcons at the 11. They get to the 6, no points. 4th and 1 for the Falcons at the 3, no points. Baltimore, all the way back to the first game of the year. First and goal at the 7 with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, field goal. Same with Cincinnati. First and goal at the 6, field goal. Chargers, 4th and 1 at the 3, field goal. That's a big reason this team is 7-0, because they've had 14 goal-to-go situations they've had to defend, and they're 4th in the league in fewest touchdowns allowed, but they've actually had to defend the most goal-to-go situations the Chiefs have of any team in the NFL in these first 8 weeks.
So, Mitch, the Chiefs make a addition to the defense. They pick up Joshua Uche, the defensive lineman from New England. It's funny because this is a move that the Patriots would have made, it feels like, 7-8 years ago. The Patriot way. They get a guy who was a first or second round pick. You bring him into the fold, and you think that it's going to work. Veach has made a couple of these moves over his career. We call him the Veach special on this show. What do you make of this move? What do you think that Uche's role is going to be down the stretch?
Well, and then let's get to D-Hop, because that's another Veach special, and throw it on the stack with the, Kareem Hunt, Samaje Perine Veach specials, and getting Juju Smith-Schuster back. I mean, we're loading up the file of Veach specials here. With Uche, I think that you're getting, obviously, an accomplished pass rusher, because, just 2 years ago, he had 11.5 sacks. More than that, he had a lot of quarterback hits and hurries. But I think he's been a steady defender. I remember studying him a little bit last year, and we played them. And thought, ooh, he would fit Spags' scheme at some point because he's not just a guy chasing sacks or getting upfield, like the Bosa's and okay, you run under his armpit. He's a steady football player that looks to me that can make I guess he just fits. I've not talked to him yet, haven't seen him yet. Curious to see him on the field and what he's going to be like. But part of the Veach special here, C-Dot, part of the Veach special is he gets guys that are not counterculture to what you have in place. I've been very impressed in my brief discussions with DeAndre Hopkins. It's in Drew Tranquil. We go right down the line. Justin Reed, our guest tonight on the Kingdom Show. These guys not only assimilate into your culture, C-Dot, they've enhanced the culture. And I really expect that with D-Hop. And hopefully Josh can do the same thing in the fact that these guys add to what you have, even beyond the field, and they don't work counterproductive to what you have off the field, because that can wreck a team. We've seen that before throughout the NFL and with the Chiefs throughout history.
Right now, we're talking to Mitch Holthus for a couple more minutes here. What did you notice from D-Hop? He didn't get a lot of snaps, didn't get a lot of targets and opportunities, but you know that his role is going to grow over the course of the remainder of the regular season. What did you see from him in Game 1?
Another thing we'll discuss tonight with Andy Reid, but here's what I saw. Okay, the third down pickup to open the game, to keep that drive going on the opening touchdown drive. How about the catch he made in the 2-minute offense? He's on the field seat out in the 2-minute offense. He was in our building Thursday morning, and he's in the 2-minute offense. That's not just something you draw up plays or have time to do. He was already ready for that situation. But what I saw that excites me as much as any of those two catches was how he's going to help the team when he never touches the ball. Do you find it a coincidence that Kelsey had 10 catches for 90 yards yesterday? Did you find it a coincidence that Xavier Worthy looked like he was just freed up to play? I thought with Xavier, because he's a kid that will take on the responsibility. Hollywood goes down, Rashee Rice goes down, Juju Smith-Schuster goes down, and now all of a sudden a rookie who's in the first half of his first year is probably feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders. Like, dude, I've got to get this done. Now he can free up and play because D-Hop will go, I got you. Just do your thing. Go for a 54-yard go pattern and get a touchdown. I'll figure out some of the other stuff. But I thought it was an immediate impact where the subtle impact of DeAndre Hopkins, where Kelsey has his best day so far this year, and Worthy was freed up to play and made big plays, including that touchdown that pushed the Chiefs ahead. We're up by 2 touchdowns.
Mitch, you have been around this Andy Reid system, and you probably talk to Andy as much as anybody. What struggles or challenges do you think that D-Hop is going to have in trying to learn this offense? We hear a lot about Andy Reid and how tough it is to kind of come in the middle of the season. You're really big on the summer and that creating that level of preparation. Yep. D-Hop's kind of joining the semester in the middle of it. How quickly do you think it's going to take him to get ready to become the D-Hop that he's been so far in his career?
Well, we're going to see a bit of it. We saw a bit of it already. But, yeah, there's a reason you have OTAs and the Chiefs are so good at it. And I preached on it for years and years, and it's the reason they've been so good and have, zeroing in on a 12 straight winning season with Andy Reid. I think it's the off-schedule plays for D-Hop. You've got to learn how to play with Patrick. I'll say it tonight at the gala. We're all just riding our bikes to Pat's house. We're going to play and have an awesome time and get a pickup game. Well, with Pat, you've got to be ready to play the pickup game. I've already seen Samaje Perine do it. Did you see the chip and release? He gets the 22-yard gain against San Francisco. Those aren't necessarily the scheduled plays, but you've got to learn how to learn the nuances of Patrick, and that does not happen overnight. That's not on your iPad or on the diagram. That is, where's Pat going? I better do this if Pat's going over here, and that takes some time. So that will come. That will come with the weeks, and then that will come with Patrick's, I think, increased trust of DeAndre Hopkins. Now, we can sit here and look at any quarterback in the league and go, he should have thrown to C-Dot. Look how he's open. Well, that's not even realistic many times because we're not seeing the fire that's in the face of Mahomes. But yesterday, there was one where he floats the pass to Xavier Worthy, Patrick does, and the ball's knocked down by Josh Jacobs guy, whatever, and he knocks it down. Well, D-Hop's wide open in the middle of the field. I think as time goes on, Patrick and D-Hop will learn to play together, but it's the off-schedule plays. And DeAndre learning to play the pickup game with Patrick that Kelsey can do in his sleep.
Mitch, I've never asked you this before. It's unrelated to the Chiefs, but I'm genuinely curious. Have you ever called a Hail Mary before, like we saw last night in Commanders and Bears?
Not with a dude that's over taunting the crowd. What are we doing? Like, why the ball's going to be snapped. Does he not realize the ball's going to be snapped? And he's 40 to it's a 53-yard field lengthwise. So it's a 53.5-yard field. So he's literally whatever half of that is, 37 yards away, taunting with people. Where am I supposed to be? Touchdown, game lost. No, I've not seen anything like that, but mainly because it was defensive malfeasance of somebody who would rather taunt than win the game. Now, if we want to talk about culture or just where sports is right now, and social media doesn't help this, because I would rather taunt you than win the game. And that showed up yesterday, I think, in that contest, because now he's had to apologize to his teammates, and I appreciate that. But still, that play shouldn't have worked if Chicago does their job, if everybody does their job. It is also a great indication of where we are in football, where you always say 11 guys got to do their job every time. Well, that's a perfect example of one guy didn't do what he was supposed to do, and the Bears lose a game they could ill afford to lose because their division is rock solid. If that game keeps them out of the playoffs, that play will be played over and over and over, and you'll see it May, June, and July, or you'll see it on some sports show going, the flubs of the week or whatever. So, no, I've never seen anything like that, but mainly because of defensive malfeasance.
Last thing here, Mitch, and I appreciate your time. I know you don't look ahead as much, but us sports talk radio guys, we can't help. We love to look ahead. I'm kind of looking at the 1 seed conversation. At least Baltimore. Baltimore's 4 games back of Kansas City with 2 months to go. It's just hard to think that Baltimore is going to be in a position where they have the 1 seed over Kansas City. I'm still open to the possibility of Houston and Buffalo, just because those 2 teams play Kansas City, so you got a chance to gain ground directly and have a tiebreaker over them. But just as we are halfway through the NFL season, I mean, there's only 3 teams realistically that have a chance at the 1 seed, and obviously Kansas City, with them still being undefeated, they have a huge leg up in these final 2 months of the season.
I don't care if it's 1 or 5. You got to take care and get to that bye. I know that you pay attention every week to the Minute with Mitch on Channel 41 on Thursdays or on the Chiefs Radio Network. I know that it's appointment. You have your phone set up to notify you.
Locked in.
Ding. That's what I thought. Because you already know then what I said about the schedule. And was the bye too early? I said no, because it's the Tour de France. You're just taking it's 5-7-5 the way the season breaks out. But if you get the 1 seed this year, the Chiefs will play 1 game in 24 days. And to me, that will be a plus. Don't give me the rest. We'll talk about. I know I'm way ahead of myself here. I'm 2 months ahead of myself. That will be like an additional training camp for Andy Reid and this team, because now you're going to have time for D-Hop, time for Juju Smith-Schuster, maybe Hollywood Brown coming back not only from injury but getting back into the flow of things. The 1 seed might be as important as ever this year. So I don't care if it's 6 teams or 2 teams or just the Bills. The Texans will be there too. But, yeah, I mean, you got the Ravens and Bengals are looking at a whole bunch more hard games. I mean, the Ravens aren't done with hard games here, and the Chiefs have had a pretty tough path to get to the 7-0. But you zero in on that bye because you may get a freebie training camp at the end of December and early January while everybody else is slugging it out to get to you.
And that is Mitch Holthus. His appearance on the show is brought to you by Silverstein Eye Center. Achieve your best vision and experience outstanding patient care at Silverstein Eye Center. Also by GEHA. They are a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. Mitch, you got a busy day ahead of you. You got Chiefs Kingdom coming up with Justin Reed. You got Patrick Mahomes shindig later today. This is one of your busier Monday nights.
I'm all collapsed at about 2 a.m. because there wasn't a whole lot of sleep last night, but that's okay. I just got to ask you, though, the question of the day. Would you rather taunt Rob or beat Rob?
I mean, I'd much rather win. But you know what? Rob and I are on the same team, Mitch. We're on the same team here.
But you catch my drift. Why are we want to taunt dudes more than we want to beat them? Social media, I can't wait to taunt you. Well, no, just play the game, okay? Dude, go to your job and knock down the pass. I'm terrified the Bears won't make the playoffs. It'll be because of that moment that everybody looks at.
That is Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, joining us on the show. Mitch, I appreciate your time as always.
See you, man.
Absolutely. That is Mitch Holthus joining us on the show today. Let me play this audio for you guys. Now, I do not understand why we are already starting the undefeated conversation with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, maybe you guys are going to think that I'm being Buzz Killington. But you know what? If the Chiefs are undefeated when we get to Black Friday, I will start having that conversation with you. When they get to 6 games remaining in the schedule, sure, I will have that conversation with you about the Chiefs being undefeated. But until we get to that point, I just cannot get myself to talk about a team being undefeated when we're not even at their halfway point and they're not even halfway done with their game. So I don't think the Chiefs are going undefeated. That is not me telling you that I don't think the Chiefs are good or going to go to the Super Bowl. I just don't think that they're winning every single game this season. For some reason, the talk about this has really picked up over the course of the last couple of weeks so much. I want to play for you guys what Mike Renner had to say. He is on CBS. Here's what Mike Renner had to say.
This is one of the fakest undefeated teams right now in the NFL. They're blowing nobody out. 5 one-score wins so far in the season. They ain't going undefeated. They're going to drop one. They could lose to the Broncos this upcoming week. They are a good team. They're not a great team. They're not going undefeated.
Really? Whoa, you got a hater. Mike, how many teams are better than the Chiefs right now?
I'm not saying anyone's better than them, but they're not this juggernaut that goes undefeated, right? There's a reason one team did in the past 25 years, and they were blowing teams out left and right. They're doing the Patriots. So it just ain't going to happen.
Why are we even talking about this? I don't think the Chiefs are going undefeated. Again, maybe you guys are, well, who's going to beat them then? If you really want me to go through the teams that I think are going to beat the Chiefs, I'm happy to go through that exercise with you. I think they lose one of the 2 games to the Broncos. I think they lose on the road against Buffalo. And I think they lose one of those 3 games that they have in 10 days. I think this team finishes 14-3. Now, maybe you're mad at me. How can you say that? They win 14. I have them as the 1 seed. They get the bye week. They win 14 games. That sounds like a year that everybody would take. Who's got the Chiefs going undefeated? What are we doing here? Why are we having these conversations before Halloween about teams going undefeated? 1 team's done it. 2 teams have done it in the whole 100-something year history of the NFL. Why are we having undefeated conversations? I don't think this team's going to lose. Fakest undefeated team ever. What are we even talking about? They're not the 07 Patriots? Is that what we're arguing? No, they're not the 2007 Patriots. If that's what you want me to agree to, Mike Renner, sure. I don't think they're that. They don't need to be. You know what they are? The best team in the 2024-2025 NFL season. That's all they need to be. They don't have to be better than any other Chiefs team that we've seen. They don't have to be better than any historic NFL team that we have. They just got to be better than all the teams that are currently playing. And right now, so far, through the first 2 months of the season, they have been. That's it. That's all they need to be. I don't know why we're having this conversation so early about a team. That is going to be my stance. Anytime you ask me this, hey, do you think they're going undefeated? Is it Thanksgiving yet? If we're not at Thanksgiving, then I don't want to talk about it yet. When we get to Thanksgiving, and if the Chiefs are still undefeated, we can happily have that conversation about them going undefeated. Once you get to like 11, 12-0, I'm happy to have that conversation. Hey, there's a chance they actually do this. You're talking about a perfect game in the 4th inning. No. I think the other team gets a hit at some point. I don't know when they get a hit, but history suggests that another team is going to get a hit if you got a perfect game going into the 4th inning. That's what I think we're talking about with the Chiefs. We're talking about perfect games in the 4th inning. It's way too early. Once you get to the 7th inning, sure, we can start to have that conversation. Not before that, though.
But we both know why this is happening. 2 reasons. One, first and foremost, I don't know if I'm defending Mike Renner by saying this, but over on CBS, Pete Prisco did say the Chiefs are going undefeated, which... Wasn't Pete Prisco at one point a noted Chiefs hater? So that's a wild pivot in his career. But he has the Chiefs at undefeated, which is why this was discussed on the desk for Mike Renner. That's first and foremost.
Well, then he's wrong, too. All of them are wrong, then. All of them are wrong. This isn't just a Mike Renner. This is anybody. This is Danny Parkins, Nick Wright, Adam Schefter, whomever. If you were talking about the Chiefs being undefeated on October 28th, you were having the wrong conversation.
And that conversation is coming up because... Now, I think this week in the NFL told us anything can happen on any given Sunday. But let's look at the Chiefs' schedule heading into the Bills game. Broncos at home, you feel like it's an auto win. Bucks at home.
I don't know if the Broncos at home are auto win.
I just don't believe in the Broncos. But we can talk about that Broncos week. I bet the ESPN analytics show that's a 65% chance to win. Bucks at home with exactly 0 wide receivers, probably in the same camp. Those 2 games. Now, the Bills game will be a toss-up, but if you get through the Bills, you then have the Raiders and Panthers on the back half. And then the Browns, by the way. So there is one game where the average fan or the average media member looks at it and goes, oh, it's losable. That's why this conversation is happening. It's because they're 7-0 and people are forecasting 9-0. And at 9-0, the conversation 1,000% starts on the Parkins, Nick Wright, Bomani Jones, Skip Bayless type of shows. It's coming because of what's coming down the pike.
Now, they have played one more game than them, so that obviously changes things. Did you know that right now the Broncos have given up less points than the Kansas City Chiefs and have a better point differential than the Chiefs? I'm not telling you that I think the Broncos are as good as the Chiefs. I'm telling you that I feel that either the Broncos or the Chargers are going to make the postseason. If you're asking me today, I think the Broncos are making the postseason. It just feels like every year there's one of those just random weird years that it doesn't make sense, and they put it together. They're just good enough where they end up making it, and I think that's Denver this year. I really do. I can't fully explain it with Denver. I don't think Denver is very good. It's something weird about this Broncos team. They've been kind of pesky this year. They really have. They've been kind of pesky this year. And I could just see them playing like a weird, low-scoring game against the Chiefs, and they just figure out a way to win. I can sense it. Offense turns the ball over a couple times. Raiders. So I'm just not putting the Broncos game in the auto win category. They're going to be favored, I would guess, by at least 6.5 points in both of the matchups. Let's see that end of the season game. Who knows who's playing, who's not playing. I just wouldn't put the Broncos in an auto win category. We're halfway through the season, and the Broncos are 5-3. The Broncos have been one of the bigger surprises in the National Football League. Coming up on the other side, we were joined by somebody in New England to get their thoughts on the newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs. We will play for you what he had to say next. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's 2 biggest newspapers, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Here's Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith asking you to vote yes on 2.
Back in my day, I was the wizard of the infield. Now, I'm a grandfather. That's why I'm voting yes on Amendment 2. It means over $100 million for Missouri schools and teachers, and no more broken promises. There's a constitutional guarantee that the money goes to our schools, and legalizing sports betting is great for us fans too. That's why the Royals, Chiefs, Blues, and Cardinals all join me in saying yes on Amendment 2.
Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Protect yourself. Get the updated COVID-19 vaccine and your flu shot at the same time at Hy-Vee. That's right, you can save time and get your COVID-19 and flu shot at the same time. Schedule your updated COVID-19 vaccine and flu shot online today, or just stop by any Hy-Vee pharmacy whenever it's convenient for you. No appointment necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. Your Hy-Vee pharmacy is here to help you and your family stay healthy. Some restrictions apply.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal. That's all.
How about 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models? That'll get you a low monthly payment. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Google highest review rated Subaru retailer in Kansas City based on 2023 Google Analytics.
Dick Ray Ray, he's your heating magician. Dick Ray, he's a man on a mission. In the dead of winter when the furnace is broken and a chill is in the air, you can call Dick Ray and he'll fix it up with care. He's always there. Call Dick Ray, he's your heating magician.
Hey, it's Dick Ray. Schedule your furnace tune-up today. Only $79. Call 913-DICK-RAY.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Bronius Professional Welding Equipment, service and repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
It's a Red Friday on 96.5 The Fan and the other place, especially with these great game day specials. 8 wings and a basket of tots for $12 plus $4 domestic OP cups. The other place, the next best thing to being at the game.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Cordell and Cordell traffic cams showing the traffic flow coming to a halt at eastbound 70. That's the exit to 7th Street traffic way. Got a crash there involving 2 vehicles. Slow on the downtown loop, especially the southern lanes. Also northbound 35 into downtown. And got emergency vehicles on the shoulder of the southeast side of the metro, westbound 470 just past 50 Highway. And some debris in the roadway a little further west, westbound 70 just past Raytown Road. I'm Lori Pearson, 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Chiefs fans, it's Trey Smith. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I do want to play this audio for you guys, these cuts. I don't know if I need to clarify my Broncos thoughts. I don't think they need clarification, but I'm happy to have the conversation anyway. I'm being called Denver Dot on the text line. There's only 8 teams that can make the postseason in the AFC. 7 of them have to make it. Rob, tell me if you think that one of these, if I have missed any team. Out of these 8 teams, 7 of them are making the postseason. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Houston, Indianapolis, Kansas City, Denver, Los Angeles. Can you see any other team in the AFC that is in that conversation? Because Miami, New England, and the Jets all have 2 wins. Cincinnati is 3-5. Cleveland is 2-6. Jacksonville's 2-6. Tennessee is 1-6, and the Raiders are 2-6. Can you see any of those other teams being in this conversation? So it's not me that I love the Denver Broncos. It's just 7 of these 8 teams have to make it. Either Denver or the Chargers are making the postseason this year. That's how it works.
Or both. I mean, both could make it in that world too.
Absolutely. So, I mean, out of this conversation, we can cross some of these teams off. Kansas City is 100% making the postseason. Houston is 100% making the postseason. Buffalo is 100% making it, and Baltimore is 100% making it. So between Pittsburgh, Indy, Denver, and the Chargers, 3 of those teams are making it, and one of them is not making it. So you can tell me who you think it is. If you don't think it's Denver, that's fine. Then you think the Chargers are making the postseason. Then that's fine. If you want to argue the Chargers, that's perfectly fine. But that's the list. There are not that many other good teams, and that's why when on the text line it's like, oh well, the Broncos haven't played anybody. There's not that many good teams in the National Football League. Certainly not in the AFC. All of those teams are in the NFC. Washington's good. Philly has proven, I think, to be a pretty decent team. The Lions are good. The Packers are good. The Vikings are good. Atlanta's pretty decent. And there's only 3 good teams in the AFC. I don't know how, who are the good teams you're supposed to be playing and beating if the AFC is just, it's not nearly as strong as we thought it was going to be this year. The AFC is just, it's not very strong at the top, where I think the NFC is actually pretty good from 2 through 7. I don't think the AFC is.
I mean, the AFC, I think, is a better conference because the top is better, but there is no depth in the league. Like, someone on the text line says, I think Cincy's getting in. Maybe you put Cincy in part of that group of 3 people getting 5 spots because their schedule's kind of soft.
And really quickly, if you want to have the conversation that the Broncos haven't beaten anybody, the Bengals' 3 wins are Carolina, the Giants, and the Deshaun Watson Cleveland Browns. So if any criticism that you have of the Broncos is very fair, the Bengals have been the worst version of the Denver Broncos. The Bengals have not won a home game yet. It's Halloween. They haven't won a home game yet. Think about that. They have 0 home wins. So I don't have Cincinnati making the postseason.
I don't either. I was just saying, someone on the text line says you need to throw them in the category of that.
I'm
5.
not throwing them in there. No, you can. I'm not putting them in my list.
I would lean toward them being out too, but I mean, that's the problem. A team like Cincy, they're out on your list, they're on someone else's list. I could see an argument for both sides. That sort of team is going to be the 7 seed. This is like the gift and the curse of the NFL expanding the playoffs. There's a gift because more football, and boy, oh boy, can America not do anything more than love football. But you know what? It means riffraff gets into the playoffs.
100%.
Like, last year, the Steelers were a playoff team. Right now, do you remember who the Steelers quarterback was? It was Kenny Pickett and some Mitch Trubisky starts. What? Why is that a playoff team? The Dolphins, by the time they had come to Arrowhead, now they were depleted by injury. Riffraff. Mitch Trubisky took his Bears team to the playoffs one year. Riffraff. Like, this is what it looks like. So, yes, I think the Broncos are probably a playoff team, but being a playoff team does not mean you're good. It just means you're in.
100%. I 100% agree with you. I think the Broncos have just shown a weird level of peskiness this year that I think the Broncos are making the postseason. I'm just looking at the rest of the AFC. I'm looking at their defense and how they've played. I think the Broncos are going to figure out a way to win 9 games, and I think they're going to be the 7 seed in the AFC playoffs. Let me play for you guys what Alec Barth had to say. He is with 98.5, the Sports Hub in Boston. He covers the New England Patriots. So, Josh Uche, the newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs, he had 11.5 sacks in 2022. Since then, he has not been anywhere close to that level. We asked Alex Barth what has been different with Uche since then.
So it's a couple things. He's been banged up, which is one part of it. At least he was last year. He also, down the stretch in 2022, at the start of that season, Matthew Judon was playing incredibly high-level football. And around the midway point, teams started adjusting to basically taking Matthew Judon away, and that allowed Joshua Uche to get a number of one-on-ones. He was able to win those with regularity, and like you said, 11.5 sacks in 2022. He has 20.5 for his career. So it was really all the second half of that season. He went on a tear. He hasn't been able to replicate that. Matthew Judon's out most of last year. They traded before this season. So as the Patriots' top pass rusher, he hasn't been effective. As a complementary pass rusher, he's been very good, but we haven't seen that version of him in a couple of years.
That is Alex Barth of 98.5, the Sports Hub in Boston. I want to play a couple more cuts so you guys can learn a little bit more about Josh Uche. So in his career, he has 20.5 sacks. 11.5 of those sacks came in one season, and the remaining sacks have come over the course of 4 years. So he had one massive year, which he hit 50 home runs, And then he's just been okay the rest of the years. I like this move. I think this move makes a lot of sense for Kansas City, and it is in line with the kind of moves that they do. This is a buy very, very low and hope that there is a little bit of production left. And if you think, if you're the Chiefs, and you have to, given the trade that you made, if you think there's a little bit of magic left there, you didn't give up a whole lot to see. He is making less than $1 million between now and the end of the season, and you gave up a 2026 sixth-round pick. So the compensation is negligible, and if you think that he can help you as a pass rusher, you guys know there are two things I will never get mad at you for adding for. I will never complain about you adding more guys that can get to the quarterback. You can never have too many corners on your team. Your team can never have too many of those players that are productive at those two spots. Let me play what Alex Barth had to say. He thinks that this is a really good addition to a contending team, and that's what the Chiefs are.
I think it's a great trade. One, because like you said, he's not going to be a focal point, right? Chris Jones, all those other guys up front, he's going to be able to come in, play situationally, and go try to win one-on-one. On top of that, so Uche was actually on an expiring contract last year, and it didn't seem like he'd be back. And a lot of people thought they'd move him last year, and the reports were that they could get an early day 3 pick for him at that time. They didn't end up moving him. He kind of falls off in the second half of the season. They bring him back this year on a 1-year prove-it deal, and he's failed to live up to that. But you're talking about they went from potentially getting a 4th or 5th round pick for him to a future 6th. So I think the Chiefs get a player that will help them, and they probably didn't pay as much as they would have for a similar player a year ago at the same time.
I really like this move for Kansas City. I think it makes a lot of sense. I do think that this move says sort of where they feel they are with Mike Dana and his injury. But again, if you're adding another pass rusher to your defensive line, it's not a bad thing to add. You've got Chris Jones. You've got George Karlaftis. Felix has played a lot better over the course of the last couple of weeks. You add Uche into the mix. You're expecting to get Charles Omenihu back. We'll see what the status looks like with Mike Dana. If you have 4 or 5 capable pass rushers, that is not a bad thing for a defense that I think is proven itself. At this point, it's top 2. Either you think Pittsburgh's defense is the best in the NFL or you think it's the Chiefs. There is not another team in the league I will listen to that you think is in that conversation. Coming up on the other side, we're going to take a little bit closer look at Josh Uche, more of a scheme fit and how he's going to fit into this defense. That's coming up. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Cap off an exciting Week 8 with the chance to win on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins on tonight's game. We got an exciting Monday Night Football game between the Giants and the Steelers. All right, I'm going to take the Steelers at home. I'm also going to take Russell Wilson to throw 2 touchdown passes. I'm also going to take an anytime touchdown from Pat Freiermuth. I think he's going to try to get the tight end involved tonight. You can either take that same game parlay or you can create your own or use one of the pre-built right there on the app. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/CDOT to make every moment more this season. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable bonus bets which expires 7 days after restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Can help us your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Robinhood is introducing forecast contracts so you can trade the presidential election. Through Robinhood, you can now trade financial derivatives contracts on who will win the U.S. presidential election, Harris or Trump, and watch as contract prices react to real-time market sentiment. Each contract you own will pay $1 on January 8th, 2025 if that candidate is confirmed as the next U.S. president by Congress. Learn more about the presidential election contracts on Robinhood at robinhood.com/election. The risk of loss in trading commodities interest can be substantial. You should therefore carefully consider whether such trading is suitable for you in light of your financial condition. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Commodity interest trading is not appropriate for everyone. Displayed prices are based on real-time market sentiment. This event contract is offered by Robinhood Derivatives, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Exchange and regulatory fees apply. Learn more at robinhood.com/election.
I'm at a smoothie bar asking people if they'd switch smoothies with me for $574.
Oh, I'll switch.
So what about $574 if you switch your home insurance to Allstate?
That's a headache.
Nope, it's painless.
Oh, so it's easy money.
Yep, check Allstate first and you could save hundreds on quality home insurance today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Not available in every state. Based on the national average annual savings for new home insurance customers surveyed in 2023 who switched to Allstate and reported savings. Savings vary.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Hey, sports fans, if you're not calling John Anthony, you're simply missing out. To prove it, I'm release your Monday Night Report absolutely free and recorded message line. 1-800-244-5506. New York at Pittsburgh tonight is going to be a monster game, and I've got the side and total. New York-Pittsburgh confirmed analysis, pro hoops, and special prop action. That's 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to sweep the board. Call now. Hear him for free on recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports #1 against the spread. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. New York, Pittsburgh, plus hoops and special prop action. I love to go 5-0 the season free. John Anthony Sports #1 against the spread. 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506, or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Traffic brought to you by Metro Ford, online at kcmetroford.com. Debris in the roadway southbound 635 to Schwartz Road. That is stopping traffic. Also got emergency vehicles slowing things down on the southeast side of the metro, westbound 470 just past 50 Highway. Engine brake lights starting northbound 35 into downtown. Want more from your dealership? At Metro Ford, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. Family owned, just 10 minutes from downtown, and packed with unbeatable value. Drive smarter only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com. I'm Lori Pearson for 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Make sure to follow The Drive on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, coming up at the top of the hour, we'll talk more about the Chiefs' win yesterday against the Raiders. But the Chiefs have made a trade for Joshua Uche. Let's learn a little bit more about him. We are going to be joined by Sean Syed. He is with Sumner Sports to talk more about the fit and what kind of player they are getting with Uche. Sean, man, happy to have you on the show today, man. We appreciate you.
I really appreciate it. And I, of course, appreciate the Chiefs continuing to make trades. The trade deadline can be a fun time, and teams like the Chiefs are showing us just that.
Absolutely. Let's just start with this. What kind of player are they getting with Uche? His football card, there's 1 year that just stands out like a sore thumb, and then he has just had three and a half very mediocre seasons.
Yeah, Uche had that awesome 2022 year, and if you just look at some of the positives about him, he is a versatile pass rusher. I think that he can give you some speed off the edge. You can drop him out into pass coverage. So I think that's something that can be exciting for Kansas City. But look, he got traded for, a 2026 6th-round pick. I wouldn't expect him to come in and have 10 sacks on the season or anything like that. But I think it's an important piece to continue to add depth to that defensive line, because if you can just take some of those reps off of Chris Jones, obviously he's not playing defensive end as much, but you just ease the pressure on everyone else just a touch. That, I think, helps the whole entire unit work later in the season.
If you had to explain that 2022 season to someone who didn't see him play, what was the biggest reason he was so effective that year?
Certainly part of it's usage. He's being used a little bit differently and certainly a lot less this year. I think whenever you get, Bill Bellichick is the best defensive coach of all time, maybe. And obviously you get with Spags. I think hopefully that will be a good combination. For me, the most important thing looking at it was, all right, well, are his advanced tracking metrics, so like literally how fast this guy is moving, are they still kind of holding up? And certainly they were really, really good in 2022, but his get off, so the time from him exiting his stance or crossing the offensive line of scrimmage, it's still at a really good pace. So I do feel like, you take that 22 season, and certainly a lot of that is, sacks sometimes, production is not as stable as just how many pressures you're able to create. So I do feel like you can feel positive where, look, he's still moving. It may not be at the exact same pace, but it's still at a level where I think you can expect at least some pressures on the season.
Sean, I've seen a lot of stats to say that his win rate is very high and would be second on the team behind Chris Jones. We love basketball comparisons on this show. This feels like an NBA team that brings in a guy to just play defense and knock down some threes. We don't need you to be a prolific scorer. We need you to stand in the corner and knock down some threes. I think for what the Chiefs are going to ask Uche to do, I think he fits, and you got to factor in the cost of acquisition. He's not making a lot of money, and they give up one of the smaller assets that you could to acquire a player. Very little risk attached to this move.
I think that's a perfect way to look at it. And I think that's really how people should look at the trade deadline, where, of course, we look at it and we think, all right, well, is someone going to trade for Myles Garrett? Is someone going to trade for Max Crosby? But really, if you are a team that is performing well, like obviously the Chiefs are, and you can just fill a little bit of a role, or you can just add depth to a unit, that I think is where the best teams are going to be able to prosper at the trade deadline. And, of course, the Chiefs add Hopkins. That relieves stress on all the players in the receiving room. And then Uche just, again, he doesn't have to be your all-pro player. So I really, really like that move. I'm glad you mentioned the cost of acquisition. Look, when you're a team that you're going to be drafting at the end of these rounds, a lot of the times you're able to trade back, you're able to add on capital kind of year over year. That is really, it makes it a little bit easier to give up some of those late round picks. So overall, I think it's a smart move. I don't want to come in and be like, oh, this is going to change every single thing. I mean, I think the Chiefs are going to be playing late in February no matter what, but just the small things that give your defensive coordinator just a little bit more depth on that defensive line. I think it's a real positive move. And, I think other teams should look at it and say, hey, we need to be able to find that. Can we trade for Zadarius Smith, or, just depending on how much, how that cost is, can we add to our units as well?
Right now, we're talking to Sean Syed for a couple more minutes here. He is with Sumner Sports, getting his thoughts on the move that the Chiefs have just acquired Josh Uche. Just from watching him in your study, what are some strengths that you think he has? What are some of his weaknesses? What are some of his flaws as a player and a prospect?
I think he can have speed off the edge. I think he's able to, beat you around there and, be a little bit versatile, I think, with his length at different points. I think, an offensive tackle can get on him a little bit. I want to see just how he's going to be able to deal with just, really, really rock solid kind of edge players. I really like, versatility from players in general. I know the Chiefs do as well. So I like that he can drop into coverage a little bit. Now, do I expect him to be covering, like star running back out of the backfield? Probably not. But, a player that is able to do that comfortably, certainly when you have Steve Spagnuolo, who's going to do that often, that I think is an enticing thing for this defense.
Looking at the rest of their defensive line, how would you evaluate the way Felix Anudike-Uzomah has played? I think a lot of people are kind of trying to put one and one together and say, hey, this is how the Chiefs feel about Felix, that they have gone out and made a move for a very similar player at his position. But his usage has gone up over the course of the last couple of weeks, and he's really starting to play better.
Yeah, I do think he's been playing better. And some of that is, obviously, I think in week 5, he only took 11 or 12 snaps. And sometimes it's, you have to be able to get into a rhythm as a young player. And so I wouldn't look at it as, oh, they're just, they're taking FAU and going to knock him out of the lineup, and Uche's going to eat up all of the snaps. But again, I think if you're a player that is just really going to be, sometimes a designated pass rusher, having more bodies to throw at the problem, I think that helps for a team overall. So do I think that, he's living up to, like a round one selection, obviously at the back end of the first round? Maybe not yet, but these players take time. So, you can hope that you bring in Uche. He has a unique skill set. He has obviously years accrued in the league. He can maybe help FAU kind of come along and become the player that the Chiefs want him to be.
Last question here. I think a lot of people still want the Chiefs to be in on a wide receiver. Is there one of those second or third tier wide receivers that you think make a lot of sense? I would really like Deontay Johnson. I'm not sure if the Chiefs are going to spend what it would take to go get Deontay Johnson. I think a lot of people wanted them to get Demarcus Robinson. Don't think he's going to be available as well. I'm not sure that the Rams are going to be sellers. Are there any wide receivers that you think that the Chiefs could realistically add that could help bolster the depth?
Before the Christian Kirk injury, I think that might have been one that I think people would have liked. Deontay Johnson is still my biggest one just because, he is such a separator. I think that is a situation where you have Kelsey and Hopkins, who, of course, are going to be bigger bodies and kind of hold things underneath end zone coverage at times. And, we saw against the Raiders where that opens things up for Xavier Worthy. I would love for them to trade for another receiver, but at the end of the day, it feels like they probably won't make a move in that way. Certainly, as you mentioned, just other teams are going to be looking for Deontay Johnson. Other teams are going to be just driving the price up on really every receiver because it's not that easy, I think, to just bring in a really good receiver. So it feels like, hey, you're in such a good spot at this point. Even if we could, sit in the room and say, hey, it would be nice to add another guy, it still feels like, hey, this is the best team in the league. Everyone's looking up at you. You don't have to mortgage too much of the future to continue to try and win that next Super Bowl.
And that is Sean Syed. He's with Sumner Sports, giving us a little bit more information on Josh Uche, who was the newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs. He had 11.5 sacks back in 2022, and he is now playing for the Chiefs. Sean, great stuff, man. We appreciate you hopping on.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. That is Sean Syed. He is with Sumner Sports joining us on the show today. Happy to get his thoughts on this. I really do like the move. We have seen Veach do this numerous times over the course of his career. A former second-round pick that you can get for the cheap. You don't give up a lot to acquire the player. You add him into the mix and see if he has anything left. These are the kind of moves that the Patriots used to do back in the day. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, we'll continue to talk about Josh Uche, who is now the newest member of the Chiefs. And there is really only one sequence from yesterday's game that needs to be discussed. I'll explain it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison. On your new home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Traffic is brought to you by Metro Ford, online at kcmetroford.com. Debris in the roadway southbound 635 to Schwartz Road. That is stopping traffic. Also got emergency vehicles slowing things down on the southeast side of the metro, westbound 470 just past 50 Highway. And some brake lights starting northbound 35 into downtown. Want more from your dealership? At Metro Ford, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. Family owned, just 10 minutes from downtown and packed with unbeatable value. Drive smarter only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com. I'm Lori Pearson for 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
The IRS is ramping up collection, and if you owe back taxes or have years of unfiled tax returns, listen carefully. Before it's too late, check your eligibility for the Fresh Start program still offered by the IRS to reduce or even eliminate your tax problems. Call our special hotline number now and find out in minutes if you qualify for these life-changing debt reduction programs. Business or personal, if you're in a payment plan with no end in sight, have unfiled tax returns, under audit, have a wage or bank levy, or finally just want to know your options, call the experts at Republic Tax Relief and stop collections immediately. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau with a 5-star rating from Yelp, this veteran-owned company has the fight you need to take on the IRS. Don't go at it alone. Call their hotline number now, 800-406-1794. That's 800-406-1794. Find out if you qualify today. Call 800-406-1794 or go to republictaxrelief.com.
Brought to you by Gomer's. 5 locations in the KC Metro or online at gomers.com.
Stock up for your tailgate or Halloween party with Gomer's. 5 great locations in the Kansas City Metro. Voted KC's #1 liquor store in Kansas Kansas City again for 2024. Excellent in price, selection, and service. 5 locations in the KC Metro and online at gomers.com.
The nightmare stories are all too common with home services companies. Shoddy workmanship, subpar materials, or everyone's favorite, getting halfway done with the job and taking a 2-month break. So, if you need to replace your windows, siding, or doors, you could spend hours online researching companies. Or you can start with the perfect company and call Thermo King. With over 25 years selling and installing energy-efficient windows, James Hardie siding, and the most beautiful entry doors available, Thermo King will make your home project hassle-free and easy. Their triple glass replacement windows will save you money on your energy bills. Their James Hardie siding will last decades, and their entry doors will make your guests say, "Holy cow!" Right now, you can save thousands on replacement windows, siding, or a new entryway door. Great financing plans are available to make paying for your project easy. Get the process started today. 888-KING-WIN, or online at thermokingwindows.com.
MD Anderson Cancer Center is again ranked #1 in the nation for cancer care by U.S. News & World Report's Best Hospitals rankings. Our physicians treat more types of cancers in a day than many see in their whole career. This unmatched depth of expertise, combined with our groundbreaking discoveries, gives our patients access to the most innovative treatment options. Learn more at mdanderson.org.
Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. This year, I get to host, and Hy-Vee's going to make it convenient for me. They have made fresh, ready to heat and serve favorites like succulent turkey, honey glazed spiral ham, prime rib, savory side dishes, and dessert. Hy-Vee's Taste of the Holidays event is coming up Saturday, November 2nd from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can sample all of the amazing ready-to-serve meal pack options or just get a little holiday inspiration. This holiday season, let Hy-Vee do the cooking while you take the credit, only at Hy-Vee.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this. If something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Tonight, expect a low of 71 with partly cloudy skies.
Weather brought to you by Robert Half. Robert Half's recruiting professionals use their award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. Learn more at roberthalf.com/talent today.
What's up? It's Patrick Mahomes. Catch me every Monday during the season with C-Dot right here on your home of the Chiefs. 96.5, The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Monday. All right. We are going to spin, I would say, this is how I would divvy up what we're going to talk about in this segment. We're going to talk about the Chiefs. And there's really only one sequence from the Chiefs game that really needs to be discussed, in my opinion. We'll talk about college football. Missouri has been eliminated from the college football playoff. KU, they were eliminated a long time ago from the college football playoff. K-State's still in it. We'll talk about them. And we'll also talk about Joshua Uche, the newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs. That's how we're going to divvy up the next 20 minutes of the show. All right, let's start with yesterday's Chiefs game. There is one sequence that needs to be pointed out. Let's go through it. This game was going how most Chiefs games go. The Chiefs were winning. They were in control of this game, but it really wasn't by the margin that you would have expected. Now, I thought this. Rob, you thought this. A lot of people thought this, that the Chiefs were going to try to beat the brakes off the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders beat them last year on Christmas Day. It was the puppet incident. I thought the Chiefs were going to put belt to behind against the Las Vegas Raiders. It's not how yesterday was going. Now, the Chiefs were in control of the game. There was never a moment that I thought the Raiders were going to win the game, but the game ended up being a little bit closer than we expected it to be. The Chiefs were up 17-13 in this game. And you know what happened? What has happened a lot over the course of the last season and a half in these regular season games, the Chiefs turn the ball over. Now, I don't need you guys texting in. That wasn't Mahomes' fault. I don't care whose fault it was. But I'm here to give you guys the stats. I'm here to give you guys the numbers. Over the course of the last season and a half, the Chiefs have turned the ball over 39 times. Since the beginning of last season, the Chiefs have a negative 14 turnover differential. The Chiefs turn the ball over a lot. Whether it is a fumble from Carson Steele, whether it is an interception from Patrick Mahomes or a ball gets tipped, I don't care at this point. The Chiefs just turn the football over. You know that, and it is something that you got to deal with. It's just something you got to deal with. You know. At this point, you know how long it takes your wife to get ready. I know you want her to move faster. She hasn't moved faster in the 17 years that you guys have been married. That's just who she is. The Chiefs in September and October, they just turn the football over. I don't know why. I can't explain it. They then stop turning it over once January gets here, but they have a turnover problem. So they turn the football over. And now you know what? It's one of those critical, pivotal moments in the game. The Chiefs are up 17-13. The Raiders have first and goal from the 3-yard line. Now, I'm not saying that there is a good way to attack the Chiefs defense because no one has done it right so far this season. But you want to know what I know is the worst thing that you can do against Kansas City's defense? It is try to run the ball up the middle with Alexander Mattison. He had 14 carries yesterday for 15 yards. The Raiders can't run the ball well against regular teams. They ran the ball 3 consecutive times up the middle against the Chiefs defense. The first one went for 2 yards. It is now second and goal from the 1. You know what? If you can have 2-yard run, you will have the lead late in the third quarter against the Chiefs. Rob, they ran it again. They got 0 yards. All right, it's third and goal from the 1-yard line. You are now faced with a decision. They ran the ball again. This time, they got negative 2 yards. They are in the exact same spot that this drive started, and they have now wasted 3 downs. 3 downs. They have gained 0 yards. All right, they are now faced with a decision. Are you going to kick the field goal, or are you going to go for it? Now, they did exactly what I would have done. There's no reason to be down. You're already down 4 to the Chiefs. I don't know what being down 1 does against the Kansas City Chiefs. We got fourth and goal from the 3-yard line. Let's go for it. What do we have to lose? We're 2-5. They go for it. It's a sack. The Chiefs take over the ball. It is now 17-13. The Raiders, they had their best chance to win the game or at least make the game interesting and competitive right there. Because you know how the rest of the game goes. The Chiefs then get activated. The Chiefs then go on a 19-play, 87-yard drive that takes up 9 minutes and 43 seconds. That's the end of the game there. I've seen this movie before way too many times. The Raiders, then they get the ball again. They fumble. After the Patrick Mahomes interception, the next 6 plays for the Raiders went 2 yards. They had a turnover on down and a fumble. Let's be honest about who the Chiefs are and who they're not. The Chiefs offense, more times than not, puts the defense in some hairy situations. But the defense always figures it out. The best analogy I can give you guys, and some of you have kids so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Have you had your kid tell you that they have a assignment due at like 10:15 at night? And now you got to scramble and you got to try to figure it out to make sure that they get a passing grade. That is what the Chiefs offense does to the defense at least once a game. They will have a weird red zone situation. They will have a weird turnover. Something odd will happen. And then the defense will be like, all right, we'll figure it out. First and goal from the 3. No thing. We're not going to let them score here. We'll give you guys the ball back, and then you guys do what you're supposed to do. And that's what happened yesterday. So I don't really see too many other things from this game. Travis Kelce was very good yesterday. Xavier Worthy caught a touchdown yesterday. Kareem Hunt continues to be a rock and seems to score every single week. Yesterday was a Chiefs game. It's not a Chiefs game that we will go back on and talk a whole lot about. It was kind of standard fare. Chiefs kind of did their thing. Eventually, when they got tired of keeping the game close, they made sure it wasn't close anymore, and they were up 27-13 with less than 5 minutes to go in the game. Now, I know the Raiders got the backdoor cover at the end, but we told you guys to stay away from the spread in this one because it was a trap set by Vegas. I didn't touch it, and I advised you not to touch it. But yesterday, Rob, was the most standard Chiefs game that there could be. It was. They played okay for most of the game. Their defense was phenomenal when they needed to be. The offense then woke up, made a couple of plays. They scored 10 unanswered there at the end. They won the game comfortably. They were never in any danger of losing yesterday's game. So, Rob, unless you have any thoughts from the game, we don't have to spend really any more time talking about the Las Vegas Raiders than we have to. I don't really want to talk that much about the Las Vegas Raiders. They are not a good team. They are going to potentially have the number 1 overall pick. And the Chiefs did to bad teams what they're supposed to do. They didn't really give them much hope, much opportunity of winning yesterday's game.
I mean, I was watching the game with my wife, and that play happened, the stop, and I'm like, oh, Chiefs win. The game was still in doubt. It was 17-13 in the third quarter. That is still, by all metrics, a football game.
Yeah, but we know better.
We all knew.
Yeah, we know better.
Before the 9-minute drive, before the Chiefs got the ball, right before commercial, CBS shows this highlight. And it's Mahomes running back on the field all excited because the defense got the stop.
Yeah, we knew.
In that moment, I'm like, oh, it's over.
Yeah, we knew.
I mean, it is what it is.
No, we knew. I mean, that's, that's the game at Allen Fieldhouse when TCU misses 2 wide open threes and misses 2 layups. You had your chance to win. You missed your opportunity. You missed your window to win. Now KU is about to happen and you're about to go home a loser. I've seen that story too many times. I've seen this story too many times. That is what the Chiefs did yesterday. All right, let's talk about Joshua Uche, who is now the newest member of the Chiefs. So he has played, this is now his 5th year in the National Football League. He has 21.5 sacks in his career. He got 11.5 of those sacks in one season back in 2022, and he has been just okay the rest of the way. Now, the Chiefs didn't give up that much to acquire him. He is going to make $722,000 the rest of the year, which is a lot in Earthling dollars, not a lot in NFL dollars. And the Chiefs gave up not next year's 6th-round pick. They gave up a 2026 6th-round pick. So it is, quite honestly, one of the smallest level of compensation that you can give up for a player. Like we talk about, they traded this guy for 80 cents on the dollar or 85 cents on the dollar. The Chiefs got Joshua Uche today, a guy who has had double-digit sacks in his career. They got him today for 15 cents. They got him for 15 cents. Maybe it works out. Maybe Joshua Uche goes out there and has 6 sacks the rest of the year. I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe Joshua Uche does absolutely nothing for the Kansas City Chiefs. But for 15 cents, I just don't know how mad you can be if things don't work out. This is a really, really good move. You know who the Chiefs have become? The Chiefs have become the Patriots. You guys remember for 15 or 20 years, the Patriots would make these kinds of moves for these lower-level players, and we just knew it was going to work out. The Patriots would get Jamie Collins, and you just knew it's going to work. The Patriots would get Kyle Van Noy, and you just knew that it was going to work. That is what they do. They do these kinds of moves. And the Chiefs, they have become that team, that the Chiefs, they get the benefit of the doubt. You can dream big about this acquisition because the Chiefs are the team that made this acquisition. If this was the Saints that made this move, why would you even worry about it? It's probably not going to work out. But you put that guy in this defense, and you are not asking him to be your best pass rusher. You are not asking him to be your second best pass rusher. You are asking him to be your third or fourth guy, to be a rotational piece, to come in, keep your head down, work hard, try to have a good rest of your season, and try to earn another contract next year to play with the Kansas City Chiefs. That is a great setup. That is a great gig if you can get it. So Bill Belichick, you guys remember him. He used to coach the Patriots. He also made all of their player personnel moves. He was on the Pat McAfee show earlier. Here's what he said about the Chiefs going to get Joshua Uche.
I mean, look, Pat, how many players in the 6th round in 25 do you think are really going to help the Kansas City Chiefs win? I don't know. I wouldn't say there's probably a long list of them. Could Uche help them win this year? Absolutely. How many players in the 5th round next year are going to help Kansas City win? I don't know. Be lucky if the guy makes the team. I mean, the Chiefs have a pretty good team. Can Hopkins help them win? Sure. Like, those trades don't really amount to much of anything in the big picture. If you want a 5th back, I'm sure they can move back in the 1st or 2nd round and get a 5th, or probably get 5 or 6 of them if they really want 5th round picks. But I think what they need are players that will impact the game and help them, address their depth in different areas. And I think they've done a great job of that.
You know what I would consider Josh Uche to be? I would consider him to be a long parlay. For those of you that gamble, you'll understand this analogy. Rob, have you ever hit on like a plus 5,000 before, or like a plus 6,000 before? You're not going to hit that very often, but for those of you that have gambled before, you at some point, you just hit one of those, right? It's the right day. You pick the right 2 or 3 guys to score a touchdown, and you have been able to turn $3 into $150. You're not going to do that consistently. That's not something that you should count on, but every once in a while, once or twice a season, you are going to be able to have the right combination of things, and you are going to be able to turn a small amount of money into a decent amount of money by betting big, so to speak. That's what these kind of moves are. History suggests that you are probably going to lose your $3. You were taking a very low percentage bet, but low percentage bets hit all the time. History tells you that if you trade a future 6th round pick for a player who hasn't really been good consistently in his career, it's probably not going to work. But you know what, man? If you keep taking the Kadarius Toney types, you keep taking the Damian Lees, you keep taking the Joshua Uches or Emmanuel Ogbah, eventually you strike gold. Eventually you hit. Emmanuel Ogbah was a good player for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think there's a chance that Josh Uche in this system, in this scheme, could end up being a pretty productive player. Again, you're not asking him to do a whole lot. We love basketball analogies on this show. All you're asking him to do is give you energy buckets and play defense. That's all you're asking him to do. You're not asking him to go out there and be your sole pass rusher or play opposite of George Karlaftis. That's not what you're asking him to do. You're asking him to come in, play some good defense, knock down a couple of shots, and be a good teammate. That's it. You get to make $800,000. You were playing on the Patriots for your entire career in a post-Brady world. You've never had a chance at success. You got a chance to play in the postseason. So come in here, learn the playbook, be a good teammate, be willing to work, be hungry, and you got a chance to play in meaningful games. They've done this before. Did anybody know who Mike Pennell was pre-Kansas City Chiefs? He was kind of a journeyman guy, right? Kind of bounced around a little bit. Played for the Falcons, played for the Colts. Nobody knew who Mike Pennell was. Mike Pennell did exactly what I just talked about. He's won 3 Super Bowls. That's all you got to be. Come in here and be Mike Pennell. We've done this before. The same way we talk about at wide receiver, where they've done that with Juju Smith-Schuster, and that is a selling point to somebody like Hollywood Brown when he's looking to sign. They have had success at these kinds of dice rolls. They've missed on players. Everybody misses on players. But if you can sign a guy for $800,000, a guy who was a 2nd-round pick, a guy who played at a major school, a guy who's had success in this league, is there any good football left in that player? And if there is some left, you know who will find it? Spags will. There aren't many players that have left this defense that weren't that good and then joined another team and reached their full potential. If he's still a good NFL player, we'll find out in the next 4 or 5 weeks or so. You'll know if he can play. All you're asking him to do is get to the quarterback. You're not asking him to cover. You're not asking him to, get to the quarterback. See ball, hit ball. Very, very easy. That's all you're asking him to do. So earlier today, we had on Alex Barth. He covers the New England Patriots. Here it is. We asked him about Uche and what kind of addition he would be for a team that's in contention.
I think it's a great trade. One, because like you said, he's not going to be a focal point, right? Chris Jones, all those other guys up front, he's going to be able to come in, play situationally, and go try to win one-on-one. On top of that, so Uche was actually on an expiring contract last year, and it didn't seem like he'd be back. And a lot of people thought they'd move him last year, and the reports were that they could get an early day 3 pick for him at that time. They didn't end up moving him. He kind of falls off in the second half of the season. They bring him back this year on a 1-year prove-it deal, and he's failed to live up to that. But you're talking about they went from potentially getting a 4th or 5th round pick for him to a future 6th. So I think the Chiefs get a player that will help them, and they probably didn't pay as much as they would have for a similar player a year ago at the same time.
So that is Alex Barth covering the New England Patriots. That is his thoughts on Joshua Uche. I would expect Joshua Uche to play this week for the Kansas City Chiefs. I would expect him to be in the rotation. Mike Dana didn't play in the last Chiefs game, so we'll see what his health is. Charles Omenihu is still right around the corner in theory. I think there's a lot of positives about this move, this trade that they have made. All right, Rob, let's talk a little bit of college football here. Let's talk about my team. Let's talk about your team. Let's talk about K-State. Why don't we make that the hits?
It's 5 o'clock, and your wife has tuna casserole ready for you at home. Might as well get caught up on the biggest stories of the day in Kansas City with C-Dot and Rob. This is The Hits. Number 1.
Carrington, before we get to college football, the hits are brought to you by Baker University, where graduates can earn salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Let's start with the only team that won this weekend, the only team living up to expectations, the only team that has not disappointed their fan base. Carrington, Kansas State got the win in the Sunflower Showdown, and now looking at their schedule, they're basically one game away, one massive November night against the Iowa State Cyclones from playing in Arlington yet again under Chris Kleiman.
Have you noticed it that, I guess maybe you could argue it with KU, but there's only one team that's also improving and getting better over the course of the season, and that's K-State as well. So to go through their schedule, they have on the road against Houston. All you need to know about Houston is they got blown out by KU. Houston is terrible. They have Arizona State at home. They have Cincinnati at home. And then they have Armageddon, the final game of the season. They go on the road to play Iowa State. If we sat here, Rob, and we really made a list of all the teams that still realistically have a chance to win the national championship and can compete for it, K-State is on that list. Now, I don't think that K-State is going to win the national championship game. You don't have to win the national championship game. You know what everybody wants to be a part of? The first 12-team college football playoff. And K-State has a chance to be one of the top 4 seeds in that playoff by simply winning the Big 12. So take care of business. Houston, you are better than them. Arizona State and Cincinnati. If you lose to Arizona State and Cincinnati at home, you don't deserve the opportunity to go to the college football playoff. Can you win the games you're supposed to win and go on the road and steal a game in Ames, Iowa? It is all right there for K-State. I actually think that K-State is the second best team in the Big 12. I think that BYU is the best team in the league, and I think K-State is second. I think K-State's better than Iowa State, and I think we're going to find that out in a month.
Number 2.
Pivoting now to Missouri, Carrington. They lost their quarterback in their matchup with Bama and promptly lost any hope after that. Drew Pine was he wasn't good enough on Saturday.
Not good enough for Saturday. I'm questioning how is the kid a D1 quarterback? He stinks.
With the loss, Missouri fans have kind of resigned themselves to the fact that this is not going to be the season that they once thought. Playoffs are probably out of the picture. As a Missouri fan, how do you feel about MIZ after a loss in Tuscaloosa?
This is Eli Drinkwitz's 5th year as the head coach of Missouri. And he is yet to recruit or accept a transfer from a quarterback that could actually help Missouri win. Brady Cook committed to Barry Odom's Missouri Tigers. 5 years, 5 recruiting cycles. They don't have one. Now, I know it's unfortunate that Sam Horn got hurt and he had Tommy John surgery from playing baseball. That was their only hope if something happened to Brady Cook? Was Sam Horn, who had never contributed in college football? No, they took a gamble on this Drew Pine kid, and the kid's terrible. I'm sorry, he's bad. I usually wouldn't be this harsh and critical of a college kid, but Drew Pine is probably making a decent amount of money to be playing football at the University of Missouri. And I'm telling you right now, whoever his NIL sponsor is, they need a refund immediately. That was a poor allocation of funds. Their offense didn't give them any chance to win on Saturday. Their defense held up against Alabama for as long as you can expect for a team that couldn't score. You're not going on the road and beating Alabama if you can't score. You're not beating anybody if you go on the road and can't score. This game was 13-0 at halftime, and their offense had 100 total yards in the first half of the game. Their offense has completely let them down. Missouri has regressed in every single aspect of football. There is no part of playing football that Missouri is better at in 2024 than they were in 2023. That is a direct reflection of coaching.
Number 3.
Speaking of disappointments, let's talk about the Kansas Jayhawks, who have been a disappointment basically since week 2, and it feels like it's the same story every week. Another one-possession loss, another game you felt like they have a chance, it's right there, and they quite literally fumbled away the chance. Carrington, Kansas came into the season with massive expectations, but has continued to be nothing more than a team that shoots themselves in the foot. Should fans be upset at what's happened, and do they need to fire someone, anyone, just to give them a feeling that there is still belief in this coaching staff?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to happen. That's just the way that this works. I mean, I've watched probably 4 KU games so far this season, and their biggest problem to me just seems very obvious. It's the quarterback position and the amount of turnovers that they have. I was locked in to Saturday's game. I had the LSU Texas A&M game on the big screen, and then I had KU and K-State. I was locked into the Sunflower Showdown. Jalen Daniels throws an interception over the middle of the field, and at the end, when KU was driving a little bit, you got to get down. His turnovers have been the biggest problem. It's hard to overturn losing the turnover differential. Not everybody is Kansas City. Kansas City is negative in the turnover differential this year. They were negative 11 last year and won the Super Bowl. You are not the Chiefs. You cannot lose the turnover differential and expect to beat good football teams, especially not on the road. You have no chance of winning if you're KU in that scenario. Now the beat goes on. I mean, this streak for KU, it can drive now. 16 years, Rob. How old are you? 32? Half your life. You know what? There are some things in Kansas City that come around every single year. The Plaza Art Fair comes around every single year. The Big 12 tournament, we have been very fortunate, comes around every single year. KU losing to Kansas State in football comes around every year. It is a yearly tradition, is what it is. It's a yearly tradition. They've had a chance to win the last 2 games, honestly. They had a chance to win last year and this year, and they just, in the final 5 minutes, it is why K-State is K-State and why they've been the most consistent college football program this side of Oklahoma in this area in the last 25 years or so. It is also why KU they cannot beat that team. I'm sorry, they can't beat them. They're not going to beat them next year in the new stadium. You know, next year, they really going to convince themselves next year. In the booth, it's all new and done up. And Avery Johnson going to go in there? Oh, my goodness, KU. Just a disappointing effort from all of you boys. Just very disappointing. All right, coming up on the other side, we'll continue to talk about Joshua Uche, the newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs. And we'll also talk about there are 3 teams that I am ready to go ahead and call their fate in the AFC. I'll tell you who they are. Keep it right here, so drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your new home for K-State Athletics, 96.5. The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
What makes a good real estate agent? They just know what makes your home sell. And homeowners all over Kansas City trust the Sharp Homes team brokered by Epic Realty to sell their home. And I trust Dawn as well. If I needed to sell my home, Dawn Sharp is the only call I would make. Dawn and her team know how to price your home correctly and how to market it to as many potential buyers as possible. She has over 200 5-star reviews on Google and Zillow, and you can see them when you Google Sharp Homes Team or visit them at homesforsaleandkc.com and start packing.
Hi, it's Derek Johnson, and I know there's nothing better than being part of a team. A group of great people you can count on and learn from. The sheet metalworkers, local number 2, are growing their team and looking for quality men and women who want to build Kansas City's future. While you're making KC a better place, you'll also get great pay and benefits while gaining lifelong skills. Explore the possibilities at sheetmetal2.org. That's sheetmetal2.org. And take a step towards a fulfilling and rewarding way of life.
Things are getting hot. Do you have protection?
Yeah, of course. Keller Fire and Safety. They equipped my business with a fire protection system, fire detectors, portable extinguishers, and an explosion suppression system. Keller takes care of all the servicing and keeps the fire marshal off my back.
Oh, that's cool.
When things get hot, you don't want to be caught without protection. Call Keller to keep you protected.
Keeping the fire marshal happy
Since 1950.
Keller Fire and Safety.
KellerFire.com.
Creed. Are You Ready Tour with very special guests, 3 Doors Down and Mammoth WVH. November 6th, T-Mobile Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Creed with 3 Doors Down and Mammoth WVH on the Are You Ready Tour.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra. The rock holiday tradition returns. Saturday, December 7th, 2 shows, T-Mobile Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Bring the whole family to the all-new show. Soaring guitars, dazzling lasers, and enough pyro to keep you warm all season. Don't miss Trans-Siberian Orchestra live in concert.
When people have a craving to explore new and traditional Asian cuisines, they head to P.F. Chang's, where scratch-made dishes come from the 2,000-year-old tradition of wok cooking. P.F. Chang's wanted to explore new possibilities for their website. They turned to AmericanEagle.com. AmericanEagle.com re-architected P.F. Chang's website, integrating multiple third-party systems to create a unified digital experience. The results? Improved page speed and performance, personalized content based on users' location, intuitive online ordering, an increase in organic search visibility, and a 40% increase in new users. For scratch-made Asian cuisine, visit your local P.F. Chang's or go to pfchangs.com for website design, development, digital marketing, and hosting that produce efficiency, revenue, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. P.F. Chang's and AmericanEagle.com. Another example of the best businesses in the world, turning to the best in the business for websites. Go to AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
You've been waiting, and now is the time. Golden Oak Lending has fixed mortgage rates at 4.875%. But don't wait. This rate won't last forever. Call today and take advantage of our low 4.875 fixed rate. Call 913-890-GOLD. That's 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.784 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching.
Does this have peanuts?
To waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Join 96.5 The Fan and Bud Light for the Fans Football Show with Mitchell Schwartz or Sean Barber and Jay Binkley every Friday this football season starting at 6 at participating Buffalo Wild Wings locations. Enjoy $5 talls, prizes, and Chiefs gear. For a list of locations, go to 965thefan.com. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
This traffic brought to you by Metro Ford, online at kcmetroford.com. Traffic heaviest southbound 35 starts at about Metcalf, ends or eases up at about West 67th Street. Also heavy into downtown via northbound 35. Want more from your dealership? At Metro Ford, every new vehicle comes with a lifetime limited powertrain warranty. Family owned, just 10 minutes from downtown, and packed with unbeatable value. Drive smarter only at Metro Ford. Online at kcmetroford.com. I'm Lori Pearson for 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
Chiefs fans, it's Nick Bolton, MIZ. Welcome to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, welcome back into the show. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here. All right, let's do this. Let's say goodbye to a couple of teams in the AFC, and then we'll get back to Joshua Uche. All right. Now, this is a little bit different because I am not saying goodbye to this team as a playoff team. I'm saying goodbye to them as a 1 seed. Now, it wasn't that long ago. In fact, it was on Thursday that Mike Greenberg went on Get Up and said that when Derrick Henry is healthy, that the Ravens are the best team in the AFC. Well, the Ravens lost to the Chiefs. All right, that's, hey, you lose on the road to Kansas City. There's no shame in that. You don't got to hang your head about that loss. All right, they lost to the Raiders. They also lost to Cleveland. They are not the best team in the AFC. So you know what I am willing to do? I am willing to go ahead and call it. The Ravens have no chance at the 1 seed. It's over. The 1 seed conversation with the Ravens is over. So the Ravens need to get ready because they are going to be going on the road to Kansas City. They're going to be going on the road for the AFC Championship game. Maybe they make it back to that game. But the bye week, nope, that conversation's over. And they're also going to have to go on the road, and you know who they can thank for it. They can thank Cleveland and Las Vegas for that. So let's go ahead and put that 1 seed conversation up when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens. All right, a couple more teams that I would like to bury. I want the New York Jets as far away from us as humanly possible. I'm serious. I don't want to watch the Jets anymore. I don't want to talk about the Jets anymore. I don't want them around us. They have lost 5 consecutive games. 5. After this Thursday night football game against Houston, in which they're going to lose again, I don't want the Jets around us anymore. You know who the Jets are? They're the Raiders. They're the East Time Zone Raiders. They're 2-6. They have a diva crybaby quarterback that, I'm sorry, you're not going to get your way. I said this in the offseason. Rob, you were here. I never was on board with the New York Jets. And if your savior is a 40-year-old quarterback, you know what? You're probably not going to be saved. So we can go ahead and put another team, go ahead and end their season. They're playing for draft positioning, and they should be sellers at the deadline, the New York Jets. That is a team that is going nowhere and nowhere fast. There's nobody else to fire. You fired your head coach. You changed this person, and you changed this person. You added this piece. Bro, you lost to you got outscored by the Patriots. How? You got a Hall of Fame quarterback. You got Breece Hall. I love Braylon Allen, a very talented backup running back. You got Garrett Wilson. You got Devontae Adams. The Patriots outscored you, and with their backup quarterback, embarrassing. Embarrassing. You scored 15 points on the Steelers last week. You're embarrassing. So the Jets, I'm serious. I don't want the Jets around us anymore. After this Thursday game on Amazon, let's go ahead and get them flexed out of Sunday Night Football. They got the Colts coming up in a couple of weeks on Sunday Night Football. Let's give that to a more deserving team. Let's give that to Minnesota. Let's give that to the Commanders. Let's give that spot to the Bears. Let's give it to literally anybody other than the Jets. I'm ready to go ahead and throw dirt on Cincinnati too. Now, maybe this comes from the fact that I bet on Cincinnati yesterday. I talked myself into it. Man, they're at home. They haven't won a home game yet. If they win this game, they'll get back to 500, man. The Bengals still got a shot. People called I was doing all the things that you do when you're about to get a wrong pick. They got beat 37-17 by the Eagles. Eagles aren't even that good. No. It's Halloween. And the Bengals' 3 wins are Carolina, the Giants, and the Deshaun Watson Cleveland Browns. Nah, man. They're cooked. They're done. You guys can still hold on to the Cincinnati belief. I'm tired of doing this. There's no team in the NFL we make more excuses for than Cincinnati. Oh, man, you know they get off to a slow start. It's early in the season. And it ain't early in the season anymore. We're at the midway point. At what point are you just what your record is? And they are a 3-5 football team they have lost to every single team they have played that has a pulse. And they even lost to a team that doesn't have a pulse in New England. They played Kansas City, they lost. They played Washington, they lost. They played Baltimore, they lost. They played Philadelphia, they lost. Sure, they'll probably beat the Raiders at home this week. The Raiders stink. They got to beat Baltimore. They got to beat the Chargers. They got to beat Pittsburgh. No, they're not making the postseason. So, Rob, I'm willing to go ahead. I'm going to throw a little bit of dirt on the Ravens' 1-seed chances. Let's go ahead and get them out of here. They're not competing for the 1 seed. They've got 3-seed energy written all over them. You know what they got? This is who the Ravens have. The Ravens have a home game against the Broncos in round 1 energy, and then they go on the road and lose in the second round of Buffalo. You can see it loading up right now for the Baltimore Ravens and how their season's going to go. And I'm done talking about the Bengals, and I'm done talking about the Jets. We will not talk about the Bengals or the Jets anymore until they get to 500 on this show. I'm willing to make that decree right now.
Let's talk about the Jets for 1 minute. I know that you just said we're not talking about the Jets. Aren't they a quintessential example of something we've talked about on the show? When you make the big trade to go get your quarterback, it is backfiring more often than not in the modern NFL.
You're right.
Aaron Rodgers has not worked a little bit. In Denver, Russell Wilson did not work. It did not work a little bit. We can go through. I don't think Derek Carr is working in New Orleans. Like, it is failure after failure after failure. If you are chasing this shortcut that worked once, Tom Brady, the Tom Brady shortcut worked. But outside of maybe the greatest NFL quarterback of all time, when you have tried this shortcut, it fails. And the Jets were the most recent person to try it. They went all in on Aaron Rodgers, not just the compensation. They then didn't worry about him not coming to minicamp. What are you going to do, buddy? You got a vacation, so it goes. They brought in Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard. They traded assets for Devontae Adams. Like, they were doing everything. It wouldn't stun me if there were rumors they're about to sign Jordy Nelson, because they were doing everything they can to make Aaron Rodgers happy. You know
Bringing
what?
back Jordy Nelson is crazy.
It's blowing up right in their face.
Bringing back Jordy Nelson. They might as well just bring back the whole gang. They might as well bring back Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb and James Jones and Greg Jennings. Let's just make this a Packers party, and we're going to do this thing. Let's bring back the whole crew. Let me play one more cut for you guys. This was Alex Barth. He covers the New England Patriots. So, Josh Uche, the newest member of the Kansas City Chiefs, in 2022, he was a beast. He had 11.5 sacks. What was so good in 2022, and why hasn't he been able to replicate that success?
So it's a couple things. You know, he's been banged up, which is one part of it. At least he was last year. He also, you know, down the stretch in 2022, at the start of that season, Matthew Judon was playing incredibly high-level football. And around the midway point, teams started adjusting to basically taking Matthew Judon away. And that allowed Joshua Uche to get a number of one-on-ones. He was able to win those with regularity. And, yeah, like you said, 11.5 sacks in 2022. He has 20.5 for his career. So it was really all the second half of that season. He went on a tear. He hasn't been able to replicate that. Matthew Judon's out most of last year. They traded before this season. So as the Patriots' top pass rusher, he hasn't been effective. As a complementary pass rusher, he's been very good, but we haven't seen that version of him in a couple of years.
We'll see if the Chiefs are still going to be active at the deadline. I would imagine that they are. This Uche move, it just doesn't move the needle enough. And I mean that is, it doesn't move the needle like you didn't go trade for Deontay Johnson, then now you can sit back and say, we're done. No, that's not where they are. They traded a 2026 fifth-round pick or sixth-round pick, and they gave up $800,000 in cap space. So you can still go make a move if you need to, and we'll see if the Chiefs end up doing that. Coming up, today is a special day in sports. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
On 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
Right now, 38 states allow sports betting, including 7 of Missouri's neighboring states. Amendment 2 gives Missouri sports fans the freedom to bet on games too, and that will generate over $100 million for our schools. Amendment 2 is endorsed by the Chiefs, Cardinals, Royals, Blues, and Missouri's two biggest newspapers, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and the Kansas City Star. Here's Hall of Famer Ozzie Smith asking you to vote yes on 2.
Back in my day, I was the wizard of the infield. Now, I'm a grandfather. That's why I'm voting yes on Amendment 2. It means over $100 million for Missouri schools and teachers, and no more broken promises. There's a constitutional guarantee that the money goes to our schools, and legalizing sports betting is great for us fans too. That's why the Royals, Chiefs, Blues, and Cardinals all join me in saying yes on Amendment 2.
Paid for by Winning for Missouri Education, Mike Pridmore, Treasurer.
Fall in the Midwest is pleasant. The air is crisp, the temperatures are mild, and all is right with the world. But every one of you knows that lurking around the corner is creepy old man Winter. He wants to come into your home, put his feet up on the couch, and take over the remote. That's why you need to replace your drafty old windows with triple glass replacement windows from Thermo King. Triple glass? But weren't you told that double glass windows were all you'd ever need? Think again. Triple glass windows offer double the insulating barriers against creepy old man Winter than double glass windows. And their super strong frames are guaranteed to never twist, warp, fade, or fail. And right now, Thermo King is selling their triple glass windows for the same price as double glass. Who would do such a thing? Thermo King, that's who. So don't let this beautiful weather fool you. Protect your home from creepy old man Winter and call Thermo King today. 888-KING-WIN or online at thermokingwindows.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of another year counting down. Another year missing your revenue goal. Another year wondering why your marketing isn't more effective. Another year worried about next year. The clock is ticking, but you still have time. Time to contact the experts at Scale Marketing. Scale Marketing is a full-service marketing agency who is expert in lead generation and revenue growth. How expert? Our clients see an average of 20% growth in the first year alone, with sustained growth from there. It's all part of our process. From your traditional marketing to social media to paid search, we'll take a forensic approach, digging deep to find the root problems in your marketing strategy. Then we'll fix them fast. At Scale Marketing, we can't stop the clock, but we can change your company's future. Find out how you can make your marketing budget work harder and drive more revenue. Contact us at scalemarketing.com. That's scalemarketing.com.
Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, a contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Located in KC and Topeka, online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
It's Derek Johnson, and this season, Sheet Metal Workers Local Number 2 are awarding one lucky school a $15,000 facilities enrichment grant. Tell us in 100 words why your school deserves the grant at helpmymocanschool.com and make this the best school season ever.
Hey, sports fans, if you're not calling John Anthony, you're simply missing out. To prove it, unleash your Monday Night Report absolutely free and recorded message line 1-800-244-5506. New York at Pittsburgh tonight is going to be a monster game, and I've got the side and total. New York, Pittsburgh, confirmed analysis, pro hoops, and special prop action. That's 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to sweep the board. Call now. Hear him for free on recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. New York, Pittsburgh, plus hoops and special prop action. I love to go 5-0 or the season free. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506, or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group. Chiefs coverage is brought to you by Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling, serving all of KC.
At Comfort Systems Heating and Cooling, we turn icy cold rooms into toasty retreats. Comfort Systems is your winter rescue team. Comforting people is what we do. Comfort Systems is right for you. MyComfortSystems.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Here's traffic, brought to you by DM Injury Law. Have you or a loved one been in a car wreck? Contact DM Injury Law today and get the money you deserve. Car wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
A multi-car crash Northbound 35 just before 635, definitely stopping traffic, seeing cars stack up behind it as you wait to get around it safely. And a stalled car in the far southwest side of the metro. That's northbound 35 right at the way station, stopping traffic as well. I'm Lori Pearson for 96.5 The Fan Traffic.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
All right. I want to tell you guys a couple of things, and then we'll talk about sports. Rob, I decided on what couch I was going to get. You know that last week I was going back and forth about what couch I was going to get. I've officially made a decision. Now, something happened to me this weekend that I was not expecting. I don't know if I can throw the old couch out, man. I don't know if I can do it. You've probably had plenty of cars, right? But there's something different about the first car that you get, right? There's something different about it. This couch has been with me through thick and thin. So many great memories, so many laughs, so many amazing times. You know how many Missouri games have been played on that couch? You know how many movies have been watched? You know how many 325 naps after a noon Chiefs game I've had on that couch? Now you're telling me to throw all those memories away? I got to do it today, though. Nebraska Furniture Mart, they're dropping off the new couch tomorrow morning. I'm hurt, man. I'm not going to lie to you, Rob. I'm hurting. Do you remember your first couch? I'm sure you do. There's some things you always remember your first. You remember your first car. You remember your first kiss. This is my first couch, and I'm now getting rid of it. I've been very weirdly nostalgic about the couch over the last couple of days. Yesterday, what a send-off for the couch. Were you watching Red Zone yesterday?
I did have Red Zone, or at least for the noon games.
Oh, my goodness. Red Zone from about 2:45 up until the Chiefs game was incredible yesterday. Was incredible. I had to stand up. I had to salute the couch. Thank you for your service. Thank you for all you've done for me. Thank you for the journey. If that's the way that I'm sending the couch off with the Chiefs win and some Red Zone, you know what, man? I'm happy. I'm happy. You remember your first couch, man?
I mean, yeah, I don't wax about it as poetically as you're waxing about your first couch. I mean, it was fine. I got it in college. It got me through college. It did the trick. The couch.
I don't want to talk to you about this anymore. If you're not going to join this nostalgic trip with me, don't ruin it for me.
On a couch? You're nostalgic about a couch?
I really was.
My first car, I was hurt to sell my first car.
Okay, see, it's the same concept.
I let my first car go, and it hurt me.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it didn't have any value.
I'm not going to lie. Letting go of the couch is harder than letting it go of the first car. The first car, I drove that thing into the ground. It was time. I knew it was time. This couch still's got some good life left in it. It's still got some games left in it. It's at least got one more NBA dunk contest in it. It's got one more left. I'm throwing it out too early.
No, you got to let it go. It doesn't fit the new decor. New Casa de Carrington has been finally updated.
No, it was
you
time.
were rocking 2012 styles and fashions, and that's not the path anymore.
No, it was time. Really quickly, did you guys know that today is a sports equinox? So all of the major sports play today. Rob, they're still having MLS soccer?
Playoffs.
Come on now.
Playoffs.
Bro. They haven't finished the soccer season?
They haven't finished the baseball season. They both start at the same time.
When is soccer over?
In like a couple weeks. This is the first round of the playoffs. This is round one. This is the wild card.
Oh, my goodness. Hey, man, soccer. Y'all got to figure out a different schedule, man. This schedule. So today there is football. There's Monday Night Football. There's a World Series
don't
game.
Watch the football.
I do not plan on watching any of it. I'm not even placing a bet on this game. I'm just. You know what? No, I'm not watching it. So there is football today. There's NBA on, there's NHL, there's MLS, there's World Series. All of the sports are on the same day. This is only the 31st time in history that all of this has happened on the same day. This is the 31st sports equinox that they have called it. I will be watching a little bit of basketball today. I'll watch a little bit of NBA. I will watch the World Series to see if the Yankees can win a game and make this series interesting. Have we heard about Shohei? Is Shohei going to play today?
I saw Shohei was in the lineup tonight.
Oh, goodness. That man dislocated his shoulder. He's going to come back to playing baseball 2 days later? That's what he did, right? He dislocated his shoulder.
Only got a couple games left.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I think if this was June, he'd be on the IL, but I think it's different now.
No, of course. What is it? Probably still going to hit a home run today in that bandbox. You know he's going to hit a home run today. I am excited about the sports equinox today. Last thing before we get out of here. You know what? I'm going to implement this. Joshua Brisco is on a 1-week suspension. We're going to have our first ever drive suspension. Joshua Brisco had the audacity, the unmitigated gall to come on this show and say that Kit Kat is the best chocolate candy out? It's the best chocolate. Kit Kat, I don't even know if it's making the lineup. Kit Kats are better than Snickers, folks. Kit Kats are better than Snickers. Kit Kats are better than Reese's Cups. Better than Reese's Pieces. Kit Kats are better than Twix. Kit Kat is not it is not a starting five candy. It really isn't. It's not a starting five candy. It's not. I can't believe that was said on this show. And we got to get back to having standards on this show. That's what it is. I've gotten lax. In my old age, I've gotten lax. We got to get back to it. Joshua Brisco, 1 week suspension. 1 week. Ain't he coming up later today? 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock, the Josh Brisco Show.
15-minute suspension later today. He can't start until 7:15. Or he's got to sign off at 7:45. One of the two. All right. Tomorrow, we are exactly 1 week away from the NFL trade deadline. We got some Monday Night Football to react to. We got some...
We got a lot of reaction to the Steelers and Giants.
Can't wait. Steelers might win the Super Bowl. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Keep it right here on 96.5 The Fan.